My name is James Rowlands, and in 2015 I started a WNR podcast with my friend
Dan White. And for 5 years we have brought you the very best of the network, but it's time for a change.
Now we don't just confine ourselves to Vinnie Mac, bring you AEW, Impact, NJPW and all the latest from the British wrestling scene.
But we will still bring you all our old favourites, including NXT Update, takeovers and live shows for the Big Four.
This year we will decide who is the greatest British wrestler in the world, plus so much more.
But until we watch everything, we are with you, and
we are the WNR. Yes, hello, I am James Rowlands, and as always, I'm joined by
Dan White.
And today it's the WNR263, it's NXT Update, and welcome to the very first podcast of 2020. Before we continue, it's time for the alternate intro, and the sun is shining in the sky, there ain't a cloud in sight. It stopped raining, everybody's in the play, and don't you know, it's a beautiful new day. Hey, hey. Running down the avenue, see how the sun shines brightly. In the city, on the streets where once were pretty, Mr. Blue Sky is living here today. Hey, hey, oh, Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you have to hide away from so long.
Okay, James, that's enough.
I can't help it, I'm excited, aren't I? You know, it is the first podcast of the year, but now the intro. Well, on today's show, it's all about NXT.
And we are just a couple of weeks away from the first takeover of the year, and we will catch up on the UK version later.
Yeah, but first we catch up on NXT after NXT Takeover Wargames. And doesn't Wargames seem like a long time ago now?
It seems like a whole decade ago.
Yeah, it was years ago. Well, our first episode is the 4th of December.
Well, Maro's back, unfortunately. After a recap of last week, Ronaldo welcomes us to Full Sail, but he's cut off by Killian Dane.
Since Damian Priest isn't man enough to work through an injury and face him, he's not leaving the ring until someone shows up to face him. Someone does, and that someone is the Bruiserweight.
Yes, our first match is Killian Dane versus Pete Dunne.
Well, Dunne charges right into the ring and blasts the big man with a forearm, and that sends Dane to the floor to regroup.
Well, back inside, Dunne catches the Vader bomb onto a triangle choke. Dane powers out and turns it into a powerbomb. Pete fights him to the top and applies a sleeper, but the bigger man falls back on top of him to get the win in a neat twist on how the former UK champ won at TakeOver.
So Killian Dane defeated Pete Dunne.
How the mighty have fallen.
I know, what a horrible move that is.
Well, Kathy Kelly interviews Dakota Kai about the changes we've seen in Kai since Wargames. Tegan Knox isn't worth her time, and Rhea Ripley just called that Dakota gave her exactly what she asked for. Tonight, she takes out Rhea, just like she did that hood rat Mia Yim.
Well, after commercial for TakeOver Portland, the Undisputed Era minus Bobby Fish are here. Adam Cole, baby, gets on the mic. And the Undisputed Era had a November to remember. They took over Raw, took over SmackDown, and embarrassed them at Survivor Series.
Well, the year might almost be over, but the year of the prophecy is just beginning. They're the workhorses of NXT, and how does NXT repay them? By putting them in a match where Fish hurts his neck and allowing Keith Lee to pounce Cole into the stands like a ragdoll. He's not a ragdoll, and the crowd wants Keith.
But Cole moves on to Finn Balor, who kicked him in the face. The champ isn't leaving the ring until he gets answers from Finn. Instead, they get the Limitless one.
Well, O'Reilly welcomes Keith with a dad joke about Lee making moments, calling him Keith momentarily. He runs Lee down as the belle of Survivor Series Weekend Ball, but the loser who can't beat Roman Reigns. Keith says some of what he says is true, but he also turned their leader into a viral gif and stood on the winning side at Wargames.
Well, and it's true if he doesn't have any gold, but he's just trying to decide which of the belts he should take first.
Well, Cole says they want to make a moment when the Era beats Keith down and ends his career. Lee fires back by blasting the champ with a big right hand, but O'Reilly and Roderick Strong jump him for a second, clotheslines him down. Cole bails back up the ramp, but Tommaso Ciampa is here.
He knocks down a champ from behind and throws him to Lee in the ring. Keith lifts him for a spirit bomb, but Roddy and Cole save him. They head out through the crowd, but leave the NXT title. Ciampa stares at Goldie, then he and Lee glare at the Undisputed to end the segment.
Well, Rhea Lee gets a pre-taped promo. Last week, Shayna Baszler tried to bully her. Tonight, she'll introduce the champ to the Warrior.
Well, Kushida gets a video explaining that his biggest match ended with a broken wrist. That 2 months off with his wife and daughter, they reminded him he doesn't just fight for himself anymore, he fights for them. Tonight, Kushida is back.
Well, our second match, is Rhea Lee versus Shayna Baszler.
Well, this starts with a kicking exchange. Lee gets the better of, but Shayna responds with a takedown.
Lee fights free and tries to sunset flip, but Shayna fights it off. Rhea manages to land the powerbomb, but a follow-up tornado kick misses. The champ locks in the Kirifuda clutch, and that is it.
Yeah, Shayna Baszler defeated Rhea Lee via the submission.
Yes, and the greatest British wrestler is back. As Cassius Ohno is back from his NXT UK excursion. Since Worlds Collide is coming up, he thought he'd come back to this side of the pond to see if anyone wants to challenge the wrestling genius.
We then get Adrian Alanis and Leon Ruff versus the Forgotten Sons.
I forgot about the Forgotten Sons. Well, Jackson Riker accompanies Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler to the ring, but he wasn't needed as this squashes over in about a minute with a tandem move on Alanis.
Afterwards, Riker visually powerbombs Ruff onto the apron.
And Kai's video entrance is now black and white footage of her Wargames attack on Knox. Ripley enters with a mic in hand. She says Dakota set them up at TakeOver, but the funny thing about setups is right now.
Well, Mia Yim flies into the ring and drops Kai laying in the ground and powered. Big boot in the corner, Dakota falls to the floor, but Rhea throws Kai right back in.
Dakota fights back but doesn't get control until another trip to the floor where she lands a head kick of her own. Her time in the driver's seat is short, however, as Mia throws her back and forth between the ramp barricades.
Well, they fight to the back and Rhea's looking pleased with herself, but here comes the horsewomen. They jump Ripley, but the Nightmare fights them off. Shayna Baszler manages to get the Kirifuda clutch in, but they obviously fight it off once and twice. She almost gets a third time, but when she gets to the ropes, Duke and Shafir grab her arms and she passes out.
Oh, Baszler grabs a mic and makes a title match for December 18th.
Well, Kelly tells us General Manager William Regal made a 6-man tag team match for our main event. She asks Ciampa and Lee who their third will be against the Undisputed Era, and to us says this time they know. Dominic Dijakovic walks up behind them.
A Finn Balor video takes us to the commercial. Everyone wants a piece of the prince, but they're playing checkers while he's...
And up next is Cassius Ohno versus Dan's Man. The t-shirt you're wearing, Dan. Original bro, Matt Riddle.
Yeah, bro. Well, Ohno locks in a cravat. When bro doesn't tap, he drops it into a powerbomb variant and a near fall. He follows with a straight jacket, but Riddle powers out and connects with a quick senton. He misses a follow-up PK, but then executes a sequence including a powerbomb, bro to sleep, final flash knee, and floating bro, but Ohno kicks out. KO fights back and tries to follow a suplex with a neutralizer, but Riddle fights out, ripcord knee by Matt, then bro Derek, and 1, 2, 3.
So Matt Riddle, Dan's Man, he starts off with a victory against Cassius Ohno. There's a WrestleMania special after the show. The voting opens for the NXT Year-End Awards that are online later tonight as well.
Or you can listen to our past episode.
Especially where we had the WNR Awards and had everything involved in that as well. Year-end predictions.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Which ramifications are still being felt around the WNR podcast headquarters.
Anyway. Well, we see the horsewomen taking out Rhea again and get confirmation Ripley versus Baszler for the belt is happening in 2 weeks.
And our next match is Kushida versus Raul Mendoza.
Well, Grimes blasted Mendoza during his entrance, and Mauro tells us Mr. Regal did make this one official.
Right, so now it's Cameron Grimes versus Kushida, and he focuses on the hand going forward. The North Carolinian avoids the fastball punch, hits a Superman punch, but then gets pulled into a crucifix roll-up, and that ends it in a flash.
Yes, Kushida exits quickly as Grimes is pissed he got caught.
We get video package on a feud between the Russian and Gail Garza. They have a cruiserweight title match next week. We also get an official Yim versus Kai match on December 11th.
Well, Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic versus the Undisputed Era is the main event.
Well, there's a big battle in the corner, and Balor is here. He blasts Cole into the ref with a dropkick to the back. He grabs Ciampa for the 1916. Finn rises behind him and stops him for charging with a punch. Balor tries for the sling blade but gets spirit bombed. Cole looks to hit the last cool knee strike, but Keith sniffs it out and nails him with a jackhammer. And Lee had just pinned the NXT champion.
Whoa, what does that mean?
Well, it's Keith Lee's year. I mean, He's had a great end of 2019. Will 2020 be his year in NXT? He's just beaten a champion.
Well, hopefully it will be a lovely year for Keith.
It could be legend.
No. Well, Regal is out and he announces that Cole will defend his belt on the 18th as well. His challenger will be determined next week in a match between Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee.
Wow, so what a huge episode we've got ahead of us, December 11th.
Well, last week's highlights bring us in, but NXT champ Adam Cole cuts things off from the control room. The triple threat to determine his next challenger next week is the stupidest thing he's ever heard. Lee, Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa haven't done anything to deserve a title shot. All the winner gets next is a loss to the greatest NXT champion in history.
Well, Mauro Ranallo, Beth Phoenix and Nigel McGuinness welcome us to Full Sail for the opener, a Cruiserweight title clash.
And it is Angel Garza versus Lio Rush. Usual championship match intros, but Rush is anxious to get started, and a comment from Garza, possibly related to the lipstick smear on Angel's cheek, sets him off, and he attacks with forearms before the bell. The referee separates them and the challenger smirks, but Leo drives him to the floor and sends him back first into...
I don't think he's smoking, I just think he's happy about what he's doing in this match so far. And our Cruiserweight champion, it's gone a long day, it's gone a long way since Buddy Murphy was champion, and now it's being representative in NXT. And Garza's a guy who came through the breakout tournament, probably been the most successful out of loads, when you consider the winner, my man, Jordan Miles, is no longer part of the WWE.
Who's that one?
So, Lio Rush went for a kick and Garza blocked it. Picked him up on his shoulders.
Electric chair. And he bounces bottom first off the bottom rope. 2. Oh, no, just a 2 count.
2.
And the Moth nearly retained his title.
Huge frog splash by Lio Rush, but Garza managing to get out of harm's way.
Rush grabs him by the back of the trousers, but pulls them off him. Luckily enough, he had clean pants on underneath.
And now Rush going up to the top. Garza's on the outside.
Oh, looking for the frog splash to the outside. Garza gets the knees up. A really bumpy landing for Rush. Throws him back in the ring. Double underhook. 1, 2. Oh, no. It was like a double underhook sit-out powerbomb.
Well, unbelievable stuff there. Rush did manage to get the shoulder up. How did Lio Rush manage to get a shoulder up after that?
I've no idea, but he looks as shocked as everyone else. But he's grabbed him in a double underhook.
And Rush now might be fading.
And Lio Rush has tapped out.
We've
got a new champion.
Oh my God, tapped out, passed out. Garza's just beating Rush, and what a shock.
Angel Garza. Remember that name.
And what a way to end 2019 as the new Cruiserweight champion. But I don't think that was a bad match, though.
It wasn't. It was relatively quick, though. It was...
Oh, no.
It wasn't that quick, was it?
No, it was a good match, I feel, between the two men. And I know you're not a huge fan of Lio Rush, but each Cruiserweight title run comes to an end. I knew that would put a smile on your face.
Oh, yeah.
As Garza now, not only does he lose his pants, he just wants to keep hold of the title belt. And there's a new Cruiserweight champ in town.
Well, James, on my year-end predictions...
Well, Shayna Baszler gets a video package. She's working on an old Mustang and says a lot of people show up in WWE wanting to be a Tesla and do fancy things. She's a classic. The NXT Women's Champ runs down a list of people she's beaten this year, including Becky Lynch and Bayley. Next week, Rhea Ripley gets her name on that list.
We see Cameron Grimes warming up for his match before hitting another break.
And then Finn Balor addresses his triple threat match in a pre-tape. He's pissed at Winnie Regal for putting him in this match. Keith Lee's only been relevant for 3 weeks. Don't get him started on Tommaso Ciampa. He stomped him a few weeks ago and he'll do it again tonight. He calls the title he wore for 200 plus days Goldie. Finn runs down all the gold he's won in NXT. He'll win tonight and next week to continue making his future.
Well, we see Garza cutting a promo after his win. It ends with a proposal to his girlfriend. And she says, yes, yes, yes.
And then it's Raul Mendoza versus Cameron Grimes.
An angry Mendoza attacks at the bell. Grimes starts to get some momentum, but here comes Kushida. He doesn't get involved, but his presence distracts Cameron, and after a somewhat botched spot, Raul runs him down for the win.
Yeah, so Cameron Grimes loses yet again. I mean, what fucking idiot would pick him? After the match, Kushida grabs Grimes' hat, tries it on and saunters off while a North Carolinian fumes.
Well, Mia Yim is interviewed and Dakota Kai took Wargames away from her, but tonight it'll be her leaving in an ambulance.
Travis Banks gets a quick intro. The Kiwi Buzzsaw's in action next as he continues building to Worlds Collide.
Yes, and he's going up against Jackson Riker, and Riker is out with his Forgotten Son's brother. He starts with a slap and gets a lot of forearms for his trouble.
Well, the bigger man Rosine's throwing Travis around, who at some point's got butt open over his right eye, but he gets free enough to hit Slice of Heaven, springboard insecurity, and get the flash pin.
Yes, Travis Banks defeats Rhea via pinfall.
And then it's Dakota Kai versus Mia Yim.
We get a drop kick at the bell from Mia, who then brushes off a few punches to throw the Kiwi around by her hair. The assault continues into a tarantula in the ropes, followed by a missile drop kick.
Well, we get a set up powerbomb from Kai, and that gets two.
Two.
A second running corner kick misses, and Mia hits Dakota's brace. Nima suplex gets two.
Two.
And a follow-up soul food sends Dakota to the floor.
Well, back in, Kai goes for Tegan Knox's knee brace, and the ref takes it away, but she uses the time to remove the top turnbuckle. Mia goes headfirst into it and gets covered for free.
Well, it doesn't take long for Yim to recover and attack after the bell. Dakota tries to escape into the tech area, but Mia catches up to her. She suplexes her up off an elevator platform through some tables below.
Brutal. Well, Keith Lee's turn to talk about the triple threat. All he needed was an opportunity. He and Ciampa had a common goal, but now he'll dismantle him. Finn can talk all he wants, but at the end of the night, they'll both have no choice but to bask in his glory.
Our next match is Breezango versus the Singh brothers.
Well, Tyler Breeze and Fandango enter in scrubs with some nurses and a doctor theme. Breeze gets free with a step up enziguri. Dango cleans house. He does the deal twice and covers for two after the second Falcon Arrow.
Two.
Things break down and the fashion police docs show a bit of a mean streak with the attacks on the floor. Leg drop off top for the win.
Yeah, and that's the match Fandango got injured in, so he won't be able to compete that. We get a second preview for next week's women's title clash focusing on Rhea Ripley, and leads us to another women's match.
Yes, that's Kaden Carter versus Bianca Belair with the long hair.
Too much time taken gives Carter another opening, but a slingshot suplex sets up the standard SSP, but the EST gets knees. The action spills to the outside where Kaden presses the advantage, but back in sheets a spear, KOD, and that's that.
Yes, Bianca Belair defeated Kaden Carter via pinfall.
Well, Adam Cole is here, baby, and the triple threat match tournament, his opponent next week, is next.
Well, Tommaso Ciampa is our final promo for that match, and tonight is all about Goldie. He's been working towards this for 9 months. He'll go through Lee and Balor tonight and finish it with Cole next Wednesday.
So it is our main event, Finn Balor versus Tommaso Ciampa versus Keith Lee, and the champ has set himself up in a balcony above the entrance ramp.
Well, Balor blasts, but he's then hit by Ciampa, and the two faces team up on the Prince. The alliance is short-lived, though, as the Moment Maker hits a crossbody of both his opponents as we hit a commercial. And Lee is still in control when we return, smashing both men with corner avalanches.
We get a missile dropkick into Ciampa, and he rolls him back in. Coup de grace attempt, but Tommaso evades him. Lee's back into pounce. He picks Ciampa up for a powerbomb, but it floats over and hits a chop block. He nails Lee with an air raid crash. 1, 2, no! Two.
Well, the Limitless One plants Ciampa with a shove, then hits the Doom Salt for 2. He lifts Tommaso up, Spirit Bomb, but while that was going on, Finn recovers, hits a coup de grace on Lee, covers him, and picks up the win.
Yeah, so Finn Balor defeating both men becomes number one contender. He poses in the corner and Cole comes down the ramp to draw at him. Finn points his guns at the champ, who is joined by his Undisputed Era brothers, as we fade out. So Finn Balor, number one contender. Do you think that's a good choice, Dan?
Yeah, I suppose it is. You know, I think either one of these would have been a bloody good choice. I would like to have seen Keith Lee having an opportunity because, you know, Balor and Ciampa both have already been NXT champ. But, you know, I would have been happy with either of these. I think Finn Balor could have a brilliant match with Cole.
Yeah, without a doubt. So let's see if they do. It's December 18th.
Well, we kick off with a big night. Recap of what brought us here. Mauro Ranallo, Nigel McGuinness and Beth Phoenix bring us in as the challenger enters the men's title match.
And it's NXT title on the line. Finn Balor versus Adam Cole.
After the usual spotlight for big fight intros, they circle at the bell and Balor gets the first takedown to start the technical wrestling portion of the match. Loud dueling chants from the Full Sail.
And this has been a real back and forth match so far. Neither man really getting the advantage, but Balor's got Cole backed up in the corner.
They're definitely putting on a wrestling masterclass, these two.
Well, Dan, there's going to be no commercials as they go up against AEW as well. And this is a match fit for a takeover, there's no doubt. As Balor might be looking to put away Adam Cole. But Cole has been on fire, baby, these past couple of months as he hits a backstabber.
Oh no, floats over for a cover, but just a 2 count.
2. I mean, there's no doubt Balor is one of the greatest NXT champions of all time, but Cole is building his legacy up, whether you love or hate him. And especially as we get into 2020, Adam Cole's NXT champ, if he can, picks up Balor on his shoulders.
Why didn't the Balor just come down as a demon?
Because that's what he wants. He wants to go against what the fans want. He wants to kind of be like the Prince Fergal Devitt as he was in NJPW for NXT as he comes running towards Cole. With a super kick, might have knocked him out.
Oh no, Balor managing to kick out.
Oh.
Well, both men eagerly want this. I think Finn Balor wants to prove himself and Adam Cole wants to continue proving what he's been stating for a little while now. But Cole just countering pretty much anything Balor has to offer.
And now Cole looking to pick up Balor. Balor blocked the suplex. Cole did exactly the same. Like I said, both men so equal. Now yay nay punches between each man. A couple of pump kicks by Cole.
Balor responds with a Pele kick though. But Cole lands on top of Balor into the cover, but no, just a 2 count. Both men finally recovering back up to a vertical base. And Balor looks more determined than Cole does.
Oh, but Cole manages to go low with a super kick. Now it's going to go up.
Panama City Sunrise, no.
Balor catches him, looking for the 1916. Cole reverses it though into a shoulder breaker.
Ushigoroshi goes for the cover.
Sorry, Maro.
Balor gets shoulder up at 2.
2. Ushigoroshi.
And Cole now wondering what he's going to have to do to put Balor away. There goes Cole getting a run up.
Balor takes the legs out, hits a standing double foot stomp. Comes charging towards Cole, seated drop kick into the corner. Now Adam Cole's in the drop zone. Can Balor recover quick enough to hit his final move?
Well, Cole's in serious trouble losing his NXT title. Balor all the way up.
No, Cole recovers enough to kick Balor off the top ropes and then just falls in a lump against the bottom rope. Balor falls in an even bigger lump down to the wafer thin mats.
I mean, there's no doubt Adam Cole would definitely take a count out win right now.
Absolutely. Well, an undisputed Let's Go Finn dueling chant going through the crowd.
And now Adam Cole's on the apron.
Well, looking for a Panama City Sunrise on the outside, but Balor with a backdrop. I know he's got Cole in his sights. Seated dropkick against Barry Cade and sends a load of fans staggering. I think I spotted a Matt Riddle t-shirt in the lot that fell over as well.
Well, they deserved it then. Balor throws him in, goes off top.
No, Cole moves out of the way. Hits the last shot. 1, 2... No! Balor managing to kick out.
And that last shot was putting everybody away in NXT, but not Finn Balor. And maybe Adam Cole just can't beat Richmond. Sometimes you just have that person that's just that little bit better than you. And this Finn Balor, the man for Adam Cole. And the fans chanting, this is awesome. Oh, now Cole exposing the knee. And now the guns to Balor. It's what started it all.
No, Balor takes him out of a clothesline though.
Turns him inside out. And the dropkick sends Cole back up against the turnbuckles and now down on the canvas.
Second time lucky. Hits it.
Coup de grace.
1916.
We got a new NXT champ if he hits this.
Who's coming down the ramp though?
And Balor's getting distracted.
Johnny Gargano.
Johnny Wrestling's back.
Adam Cole hits a low blow. Last shot. 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. And out the back door, Adam Cole retains his NXT title. But the bigger story is
Johnny Wrestling is NXT for life.
For life. Mr. NXT is back. Staring a hole at the man that cost him a couple of months of action. Adam Cole realising to get out of harm's way.
Well, I don't think Adam Cole's in Gargano's sightline at this moment, even though he does hold the top prize in NXT. I think there's only one man Johnny Gargano wants. Why is he still sat behind that fucking barricade that's fallen over?
It looked like Gargano was going to help. Instead, just got a chair from there. Uh-oh, but this doesn't look good for Balor. And Payback's a bitch. We've seen Johnny's dark side in NXT. And I think Balor realises he's in serious trouble.
Oh, Balor trying to run away, but Gargano hits him over the back. One to the midsection and a follow-up chair shot to the back. And sends Balor out of his NXT ring.
But I don't think Gargano's finished yet.
Certainly going to punish the Irishman.
Back on those fans again. It's like a baseball swing.
And Balor's trying his best to retreat as Johnny stands tall.
And Gargano looks towards Balor, and this is not finished. This is just getting started between the two. But what a way to start an episode. A great match between Adam Cole and Finn Balor, and a return of Johnny Gargano, Dan.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he's got some points to prove now that Ciampa's not in his sights anymore.
Well, we see footage of Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler arriving for their title match, and we get a look back at the issues between Damian Priest, Pete Dunne and Killian Dane. Priest and Dane are up now.
Well, the big men start brawling as soon as they can. Priest gets the early advantage, but it does mean to grab control by targeting the Archer of Infamy's injured ribs. Those attacks lead to Killian sending Priest to the floor with a dropkick and a baseball slide, targeting the rib area. He then rips the K-tape Damien has applied to them off.
Well, he drops Dane with a leaping back elbow and again with a lariat. His injuries thwart him again when he goes for a suplex. He then hulks up to finally hit it.
A slam and a senton leaves Priest in the corner, but he gets his knees up on the Vader bomb and he's up quickly to hit the reckoning.
Well, Damian Priest defeats Killian Dane by pinfall.
And the announcers run down some of the categories in the year-end awards, and we see Cameron Grimes and Kushida warming up for their match, which is next.
Well, we learn that the Dusty Rhodes Classic will return in 2020 and the teams will be revealed on the January 1st show.
So Kushida versus Grimes is our match. Kushida kicks Cameron's arm, then goes for the hoverboard lock, but that's countered into a Victor Wells side slam. Another sequence somehow leads to a German suplex from Grimes, but that gets two. He tries to follow up with a cave-in, but Kushida grabs the ropes to stop his momentum. He bumps Grimes to the floor, then follows with a big moonsault. He connects, but lands hard.
Well, back in, Grimes climbs. Kushida catches him and goes for the hoverboard lock. That's for also Kushida flips him down into pinning predicament, and that gets two. The next sequence involves a couple of counters, but it's Grimes who ends up hitting his double stomp out of nowhere for the win.
He's allowed to because he's one of my guys, yes. Cameron Grimes does defeat Kushida.
Well, the breakout tournament runner-up claims his hat and heads up the ramp. We see Ripley warming up and get a quick video for Io Shirai. She's in that entrance.
Yes, and she's facing off against Santana Garrett, and things are equal early, and it's actually Garrett who controls the match early on. She gets the first cover and is getting much love from the announcers when Io catches her in the ropes and follows up with a flapjack. Santana's back in it with strikes off flips.
Well, another near fall for Russian leg sweep and gets a submission in with a bridging neck crank. Shirai gets to the ropes, however, and after running double knees in the corner, hits her Ashley moonsault off the top for free.
And that takes us to our next match, which is Pete Dunne versus Travis Banks.
Well, it doesn't take long for the Bruiserweight to get a takedown, but the Kiwi Buzzsaw avoids any of the usual finger damage. A flurry that includes kicking Dunne into the barricade on the floor and double stomping him into the corner, gets a near fall.
Well, Pete goes for the bitter end, but Banks flips out and goes for a slice of heaven. But Dunne evades that. He transitions into a curb stomp. Banks slips out of bitter end again and hits the Kiwi Crusher for two. Enziguri follow up and Banks looks for a superplex but ends up on the receiving end of an Avalanche X-Plex, bitter end, and that is it.
Bruiserweight offers a fist bump after the match because he's just a cool dude, isn't he?
Absolutely, yes. Well, Kathy Kelly interviews Dakota Kai. Mia Yim may have left her with 8 staples in her head, but she beat her, and she'll continue to beat everyone until she's NXT Women's Champion. We see the current champ warming up with Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir as we take a break.
And we learn next week we'll feature Roderick Strong Open Challenge and Leo Rush and Keith Lee versus Damien Priest and Tony Nese.
So main event is Shayna Baszler versus Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Championship.
Of course, we get all the introductions and the spotlights to start like we did in our first match. And this is an interesting story because Baszler's not been allowed to be Baszler in the early going of this match. It seems Ripley has really got underneath Baszler's skin and he's just kind of bringing it. And the usual Baszler match would be the same thing. She tried to work over the arm and Ripley just powered out of it. And it seems like each woman is just going to kind of go for strikes. I mean, similarity between the two, but I think Ripley has definitely kind of got a lot more potential. Let's not forget at the start of the year she was NXT UK Women's Champion as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, with Shayna Baszler, a lot of her kind of momentum relies on her bullying her opponent. But I don't think with Rhea Ripley that's going to, it's going to stick. Because Ripley's kind of just as big a bully. We've seen her kind of being quite a very dominating woman in NXT UK, so Shayna Baszler's kind of come unstuck there. So obviously plan B is to get her 2 lackeys, Shafir and Duke down, but Rhea Ripley quickly dispatches of them, even though Shayna Baszler does kind of get a sneak attack in, but again, comes unstuck very quickly.
And that's what we were seeing with Ripley, like you said. And now it's 3-on-1. Ripley's on the apron as the three horsewomen are in trouble. And Baszler just kind of sacrifices her two friends to get a little bit of distance. And with that, takes advantage with a knee strike.
Well, that's the thing we've seen with Shayna Baszler. I think she cares less about her friends than she does about the NXT Women's Championship.
I bought over the Christmas holidays the PWI. They do their 500. They do the top 100 women. Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke were in that 100, and they talk about 100 women in entire wrestling, and they were in there, and they were kind of up in the list, even though in the 40s and 50s. And I thought, who the fuck are they doing? Is it just because they're in WWE? People actually think they're kind of better than they are, because they are the drizzling shits. I mean, they weren't featured in Wars games because they were so bad. They've not really been featured by Baszler by her side recent times, have they? You know,
absolutely not. No, they've just they just come down, interfere with a match, and sit at ringside.
And it's just, you know, there's not that talent. And Ripley, you know, is being tested. There's a chance for her to be promoted, as it was. You know, started off in NXT UK, onto NXT's had a huge impact. You know, and we see her at Survivor Series as well. You know, there's a big future ahead of her. And obviously with Baszler, they like her. And, you know, there's no doubt Baszler is a good performer. It's just what she does all the time. That's my problem. Every one of her matches is near enough the same.
Well, I think with Shayna Baszler is they've got an MMA star, you know, kind of like Sonya Deville. You know, she was kind of playing that gimmick off when she was actually active.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of like, well, we've got a legitimate one here in Shayna Baszler. So, you know, it's kind of, why go for a carbon copy rip-off than actually have the real thing? You know, they've not got Ronda Rousey at the moment, so they need someone to kind of fill her boots a bit, and I think Shayna Baszler is capable of that.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think what we've seen, you know, the women's division NXT has had its struggles over the past couple of years, but things, you know, are really starting to heat up on there as well, as we talk about just the talent involved, and even the kind of things we saw with Dakota Kai with a heel turn, and Mia Yim's a great talent, and people like Bianca Belair kind of gone underneath the radar at the moment, even though she's extremely talented. And we see during the commercial, again, Baszler's friends helping her out, but the referee saw what was going on. One of Dan's favourite bits.
You're out of here. Again, you know, like we've seen Shayna Baszler kind of proving herself against women that aren't the same size as her. And she, you know, she hasn't had to use Duke and Shafir, but now, you know, I think with Ripley, she feels she needs them.
Yeah, and like you said, it's definitely more of a fair fight in that way, because Baszler, you know, is quite big for a woman, and Ripley is there, you know, talk about a tale of tape. They're very matching in that way. Of course, Baszler's got a little bit more experience, but it's a kind of Ripley doesn't know when to stay down, which is about a character that I like as well, and we've seen it. It's not really a facey face, but it's just that kind of grit and determination, and like she's taking punishment now, but you know she's going to just try and fight through it. Like in an Aleister Black type of way, in a weird way. Do you know what I mean? In that kind of, she takes punishment.
But as you say, she catches a kick to the chest as she stands up to a vertical base, rights of her own against the champion.
Oh, mate, we're looking for the riptide there, but Baszler saying, no, not yet.
Oh, but a running drop kick sends Baszler into the ref.
Well, no referee. Now Ripley's got Baszler.
Riptide hits it.
Goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. But there's no referee. Ripley had it won.
One thing I've noticed about the Riptide, it doesn't seem like as high impact a move as a lot of others.
Yeah.
It seems like one of the lowest finishers you can kind of get.
I completely agree with you. It's like the Road Dogg, you know, pump handle slam, isn't it? You know, it's just, it's what's not. It looks maybe a little bit better, but the bit of end is a little bit of a variation to it as well. It's all about Pete Dunne involved. I just say that because Baszler's there, just they look very similar.
I think Ripley's starting to look a bit Pete Dunne.
He's got there as well. Ripley went to the apron, is going to go try a senton maybe on Baszler, but she blocked it.
Looks in the Kirifuga clutch, but Ripley's bouncing from ring apron to barricade, trying to get her to break it. Finally does.
I can't see Ripley tapping out, but I can see her passing out. That's how dangerous submission is. And Baszler, she's tried 2 or 3 game plans, and now with the referee down, going to try and use the foreign object as it was, and throws it in. And Baszler now looking at Ripley, chairs in the middle of the ring. Who's going to get there first? Well, Ripley gets there first with a kick by Baszler, but Shayna with a DDT on the chair.
The ref's finally recovered. Spots the pin. 1, 2. No. Ripley managing to kick out.
And is still in this match, even though underhanded tactics by Baszler. And I think the fans are starting to believe this might be Ripley's time. But Baszler, like a shark, I think can smell blood. Going to look for the Kirifuda clutch.
Well, she's got a weakened Ripley who rolls through, though. Looking for the inverted Texas cloverleaf.
And I think that was a mistake because it allowed Baszler to bend the legs and put the submission in.
He's got it locked in. Rhea Ripley looks to be fading.
Well, this is a replay of everything we've seen the past year for Baszler.
Yeah, but Ripley managing to get to her knees. Baszler doing everything to hold on and squeeze with everything she's got.
But you can see that Ripley on her hands and knees and Baszler's entire body weight on the back of Ripley. You got credit there. Brilliant transition as Ripley went for the bottom rope. Baszler just bent back.
But it looks like that Kirifuda clutch. It's like she uses the forearm. Didn't think you was allowed to. You only allowed the crook of the arm.
Looks like a choke.
Yeah.
Well, referee's there to check. The hands under. Ripley fading.
But still trying as hard as she can. Close enough to the rope so she can grip hold of it. But every time Baszler thwarts her attempts.
And every time Ripley tries to move, it expends energy, oxygen from the brain. You can see the eyes rolling back now.
But as you said, Ripley won't tap out. She'd rather pass out.
Well, Ripley's tough. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes you're in a situation. It might be better off. Think about your career, long-term prospects of the match, even though it means the world to Ripley. Baszler might just have a beat today. Oh, the arm dropping. Referee checking it.
Well, he's doing something that he never does. And he's checking the arm, see if it falls. But Ripley grabs hold of the ref by the collar and says, "Nah, mate, I'm not out yet."
And what a performance by Rhea Ripley.
As she psychs herself up, rolls through. She's got Shayna's arms and she's just stomping away at the head. A resurged Ripley.
I don't know how Ripley's doing this. Now got submission to Baszler.
The inverted Texas cloverleaf.
And now Baszler might tap. I never see this either. The Queen of Spades, the Queen of NXT, is in trouble. No, but managed to push her off into the corner. And what looked like a knockout knee to the face. And Ripley on that top turnbuckle now.
Shayna Baszler looking to end it with a very high impact move.
Well, the fans chanting Rhea. With a slap to the face and Baszler talking smack.
Well, she ended up taking too long about it. Eats a headbutt.
Oh my God, and now she's got Baszler on that top rope.
Riptide from the second.
Not from there, surely.
Don't call me Shirley, but she hits it.
1, 2, 3.
And Rhea Ripley is a 2-brand champ.
Yeah, the only woman to be NXT UK and now NXT Women's Champion. It's over, Dan. Baszler's reign is over.
Indeed it is, yes. Will we see Shayna 3 times though?
Well, oh no, yeah, that's what you meant. No, we'll see what happens. But Rhea Ripley reigns now in NXT as the new Women's Champion. What a good match that was, but what a performance by Rhea Ripley.
It was a very good performance, yeah. Shayna Baszler, credit where it's due as well. She put in a stellar performance. Despite being on the losing end, but she definitely has improved an awful lot.
Well, we saw different sides. We saw the game plan not working, like we say. We see the interference not working, the joint manipulations. We've seen even the weapon. Ripley, there was nothing more Baszler could have done in that match. She had the Kirifuda clutch in, was tapping out. The doctors might have stopped it, and it was Ripley's toughness fighting through and saying, no, my time is now. And actually winning the Women's Championship. And I tell you what, the fans are on their feet here. What a great moment for NXT. And like I said, what a great match.
Absolutely brilliant match, yeah. I'd say it was better than the men's match.
I think it was as well. Even the kind of grabbing hold of the referee and just there ain't no fucking way.
You're not bringing that bell, sunshine.
And then the ending, you thought, what's going to take Baszler's title reign away? Riptide, we're talking about maybe not the most high impact move, but at least off the second rope there. Just shows you the power of Ripley as well. And what a celebration. The fans celebrating. And of course the NXT. Look at this. Every single member of the NXT roster, the fans there as well, celebrating with Ripley. What a moment for her in NXT.
Absolutely brilliant moment that is. Yeah, that is a brilliant visual. It just goes to show how much Shayna Baszler was not wanted as champ.
It's like the Wizard of Oz when the Wicked Witch was killed. Rhea Ripley has just landed a house on her and is NXT champion, celebrating with the entire NXT universe. And what a great episode of NXT as well. Rhea Ripley is your NXT Women's champion. So after that great moment in NXT, we move on to Christmas Day's NXT, the 25th of December.
Yes, on to the Kathy Kelly, Sam Roberts and Pat McAfee hosted pre-taped action.
And we start with some Ronaldo introed Slipknot complete highlights of last week's loaded show.
Our hosts are in red and Pat's not wearing shorts or jorts. And they kick it to Morrow and Nigel McGuinness at Full Sail. Roderick Strong is promoing his way to the ring and heads through some curtains to give someone a season's beating. Former Evolve champ answers the challenge.
Yeah, Roderick Strong defeats Austin Theory by submission with a stronghold, retaining the North American title.
Well, Roddy shows off his technical skill in the early going. Big shots from each man, superplex from Roddy, sit-out powerbomb from Theory. They battle on the ropes and Roddy drops him on a top turnbuckle with a backbreaker. That gets 1, 2, no. Theory kicks out.
He goes for something on the apron, but Austin reverses and drops his champ with an attitude adjustment on the hardest part of the ring. A pair of super kicks seem to seal the deal, but Roddy answers back with a high knee. End of stronghold, and Theory has to tap.
They continue to draw a little more after the bell, and then we get Pat and Sam breaking it down and bickering.
Then it's off to Brooklyn, where Tom Phillips and Beth Phoenix will call the action.
That's Todd Phillips.
Tom or Todd Phillips, I always get confused.
Well, we see our sire Swerve Scott defeating Jack Gallagher by pinfall.
The Brit looks for an armbar on Swerve's damaged ring, but it's reversed and then reversed again. Scott snaps off Jack's arm, then he connects with a house call head kick to pick up the win.
Yeah, Gallagher glows at Swerve from the floor, and we head to the studio where Kathy, Pat and Sam talk about the history of NXT in Brooklyn. We also get a reminder that next week's the year-end awards, and these three will host it again.
Yay. We're back for Full Sail for Candice LeRae defeating Tanara via pinfall.
Well, Candice is fighting back when we return and goes for an octopus hold, but that's transitioned into a swinging slam that gets 2. Tanara can't believe and shoves Candice, which pisses LeRae off. She puts her hair up and fires away with strikes. Conti doesn't give up, but a pump kick is caught and sets Candice up for a step-up senton. Springboard Quebrada follows it, and that is it.
Well, Kathy, Sam and Pat break it down for us and then kick it to a video for Arofa Ruiz, who puts over his upbringing for Lebanon and his black belts in every martial art on the planet. More commercials, and it's back to Brooklyn for
Dominik Dijakovic to beat Bronson Reed via pinfall.
Well, the big boys circle, then lock up. Bronson fights back, but eats a boot, then gets 2. A frustrated Dominic climbs for a moonsault off the top and really can't believe that doesn't end it. The ensuing flurry sees the Aussie headbutting Dijakovic's hand and ends with a Fez press off the rope from Reed. Leg gets a near fall, but when he climbs for a follow-up, he gets caught and Didi hits a choke bomb and gets free.
Well, Phillips kicks it to hype for Worlds Collide, and then we're back to the studio where we learn the main event on January 25th will be Undisputed Era versus Imperium. That takes us to a video for Bianca Belair, introed by Sam admitting she had an alright year. After a commercial break, back to Full Sail for
Bianca Belair defeating Shotzi Blackheart. She tries to whip Belair to the floor, but the EST hangs on Blackheart's, tries for a DDT on the apron and manages to put Bianca's face into the hardest part of the ring, but a follow-up move from the top misses, and it's only a moment later that the KOD ends it.
Well, more verbal barbs from Pat and Sam before Kathy plugs the year-end awards voting. Then it's the main event from Brooklyn.
It's Keith Lee and Leah Rush defeating Tony Nese and Damien Priest via pinfall. Nese and Priest.
Well, Leo's out with an elf jacket and Keith has a Santa hat under his hoodie and a plate of cookies he hands to his tag partner, and they both enjoy some Xmas treats.
Well, Limitless runs over Priest repeatedly, splashing him with some back elbows in the corner and gets a cover. He tries for a spirit bomb, but Damien slips out the back and makes a tag Keith doesn't see. Needs for an insecurity for 2. But before Lee carries him to the corner for a tag.
Show off some Matrix-like action, but when Rush gets the tag, Priest takes out Keith in the corner. He throws Leo around a bit, and then he does some pantomime archery. Keith rises behind him wearing a Santa hat. He blasts him, catches a dive from Priest, powerbombs into the apron, then swings him into Nese on the floor. Back in, Tony takes a jackhammer. Leo reappears on the apron with a mouthful of cookies. Lee smiles, tags him in, helps him with a final hour, and the good guys say...
Yeah, so that is it for the Christmas edition of NXT. But what about the first episode of NXT of the year, the 1st of January?
Well, Pat McAfee brings us in with a pretty great video package showcasing the past year for the Yellow brand. He's in the studio alongside Kathy Kelly and Sam Roberts. They agree that 2019 was the best year that NXT has ever had. I think me and James both disagree with that because we have varying years that we believe was better.
Yeah, 2017 was a much better year, but this will be a clip show, it seems, and the first taste of that is a shortened replay of the Undisputed Era versus Forgotten Sons versus Street Profits versus Birch and Lorcan from TakeOver 25, which we're told came in third in the Match of the Year category.
Well, back to the studio, and it's all about how everyone loves the Street Profits.
So it's time to crown the Tag Team of the Year.
Well, the nominees are... Can I have a drum roll, please? The Street Profits, Grizzled Young Vets, Viking Raiders, Mandrews and Morgan, and the Undisputed Era.
And your winners are the Undisputed Era. So they copied our Tag Team of the Year in NXT.
Yes, the entire crew make their way to the ring in an empty arena to accept their award from William Regal. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish berate Regal a bit before taking the two awards, which are just gold ring bells. The crew hugs and hold up their title along with their newly won awards.
Well, up next is the Male Competitor of the Year, and we're told by Sam Roberts that it was determined after they solicited help everywhere, including the W Universe and even executives at USA Network.
Well, the nominees are Adam Cole, Volta, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Tyler Bate and Tommaso Ciampa.
And your winner and Male Competitor of the Year is Adam Cole, baby.
Well, Roberts announces the winner in a really anticlimactic way. We cut back to the arena and the Undisputed Era is back walking to the ring to accept another award.
Well, Cole says you could have described middle of the year, but that's just a month of November alone was enough to earn an award. I want to say I'm so proud and so shocked, but I'm not. This award belongs to a guy like me.
The crew then hugs again.
And up next is the Female Competitor of the Year, which they weren't right into without even introducing after Cole gave his speech.
And the nominees are Io Shirai, Shayna Baszler, Toni Storm, Kaylee Ray, Bianca Belair with her long hair, and Rhea Ripley.
And your winner is Shayna Baszler.
Well, that's one we didn't agree on.
No.
Well, back to the ring, and Baszler is out of her two sidekicks.
Oh, she said, of course I won the Female Competitor of the Year. I'm the most dominant champion NXT. I'm the most dominant champion WWE has ever seen. If you think because I lost the title that is stopping anytime soon, think again.
Well, there you go.
Well, now it's time to give out the Rivalry of the Year award.
And the nominees are Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, Rhea Ripley Baszler, British Strong Style versus Imperium, and the Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong.
And your winner is Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, much like Dan's Match of the Year.
Well, on the actual broadcast, I didn't even bother showing the nominees, instead skipping straight to announcing the winner, Cole versus Gargano, with a video package. That's 3 awards for Undisputed Era tonight already.
Well, back to the ring, and both Gargano and Cole are out to accept the award. Both with full entrances. Cole, for what it's worth, has done his entrance shtick every time he's come out. He's coming out again to an empty arena. It's pro wrestling, folks.
Well, Gargano points out that it's his second year in a row winning this award, and it's obvious by now he gets involved with a lot of horrible people. Cole asks who won the rivalry, and Gargano says his biggest regret is his dad didn't even punch him in the face at those restaurants. They threaten each other some more, but ultimately nothing happens.
Well, the number 2 match of the year was Team Baszler versus Team Ripley Wargames match from TakeOver, which means we're going to get an extended video replay for said match, which is fine because it was incredible.
Yes, and it is time for Future Star of the Year.
And your nominees are Kushida, Zia Lee, Bronson Reed, Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai, Io Dragunov, Isa Swerve, Scott, Tanahara, and Cameron Grimes.
And the winner is Dakota Kai.
Well, Kai gets to the ring and says she'll be making her own opportunities now with a grimace on her face before walking away.
Now it's time to crown Takeover of the Year.
The nominees are War Games, Phoenix, Blackpool, New York, 25, Toronto, Cardiff, or all of them.
Yes, well, they all delivered. But the winner is NXT Takeover Wargames.
Well, they didn't actually announce the nominees on live broadcast, they're simply revealing the winner with a video package.
So who actually accepts that award for Wargames?
The city of wherever it was held. Chicago.
Well, now it's time for Breakout Star of the Year.
Your nominees are Damian Priest, Piper Niven, yes, she should win. Dominic Dijakovic, Angel Garza, Joe Coffey, Keith Lee, Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, and Dan's man, Matt Riddle.
Well, your winner is...
Matt.
Bro. No, it is the limitless one, Keith Lee.
Yeah, well, instead of with a wrestler going to the ring getting the award from William Regal, we get a pre-tape of Triple H giving the award to Lee backstage. He says we haven't seen anything yet.
Well, they revealed the Match of the Year winner, which was Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match from NXT Takeover New York. Yet another award for Cole, who has cleaned up tonight, and they go into the video replay of the match.
We're at the end, and that means it's time to award the winner of the overall competitor of the year.
Your nominees are Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Adam Cole, Walter, Tyler Bate, Io Shirai, Shayna Baszler, Rhea Ripley, Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm, and Bianca Belair.
And your winner is Adam Cole, baby!
Well, they didn't do nominees on television, but went back to the arena so Undisputed Era could make yet another entrance. They already have 5 little gold bells. What's one more to add to their collection? Cole calls the whole crew winners and says there aren't any wrestlers in the world who can keep up with him.
He said, I promise you with every fibre of my being that this is the beginning. This is by no means even close to being the end, because the era of the Undisputed has just begun.
And the show goes off the air with the Undisputed Era talking about all the hardware they've won tonight.
Yeah, so that is NXT to finish out 2019 and start 2020. What are your thoughts, Dan, on everything we've seen here today?
I think
NXT has been absolutely brilliant. It was great to see an end to Shayna Baszler's run. I don't think anyone deserves it more than Rhea Ripley, even though she's kind of just been promoted up to the American NXT. Very good match between Adam Cole and Finn Balor as well. I hope to see a little bit more of them in the future. And definitely Keith Lee deserves to be one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I know we're heading towards the UK takeover, but we've got the American one, just over a month away in the distance. You could already make... Hopefully Keith Lee versus Adam Cole for the NXT title will be nice. Gargano versus Balor. And of course Rhea Ripley. Will she face Baszler again? Or will she have a new challenger? These are the questions that need to be asked. I think the only thing, the tag team division is something that I think NXT needs to work on in 2020 with the Undisputed Era there. They're dominant at the moment, but can they have a successful 2020 as they can in 2019? Do you think the Undisputed Era, that's it for them now? Or do you think they can continue the success?
I think, the only definitely up even further for the Undisputed Era. I hope to see him on the main roster soon and not go the sanity route and actually go a proper route and become a dominant faction, because, there aren't really many heel dominant factions on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it'll be an interesting year for them, and of course an interesting year with NXT, and every month we will bring you an NXT update, and of course all the takeovers and the live shows beforehand. We do it every year, and of course we're going to do it this year as well. But now on to NXT news. For the first couple of months of 2020, WWE moved NXT Takeover events away from Raw and SmackDown brand pay-per-views. Royal Rumble weekend will have a Worlds Collide show, and February there will be a takeover in Portland, Oregon. Well, that uncoupling will not occur for WWE's biggest event of the year, however. Triple H gave us more details about the takeover, which will take place before WrestleMania 36, Takeover Tampa.
Well, Triple H said this February, WWE NXT heads out west for an NXT road trip in Phoenix. The 7th of February, NXT Las Vegas. NXT Phoenix is the 7th of February. NXT Las Vegas is the 8th of February. And NXT Riverside is the 9th of February. And then takes over a WrestleMania weekend in Tampa. NXT TakeOver Tampa is live on Saturday, April the 4th. Tickets on sale this Friday. #WeAreNXT.
After moving to Friday last year because New Japan and Ring of Honor were running Madison Square Garden on Saturday, NXT is back to the eve of Mania in 2020. Friday is now for SmackDown, of course, with a Hall of Fame ceremony set for Thursday.
All 3 of those shows and the Monday after Raw will take place in Tampa's Amelie Arena. WrestleMania 36 is set for Raymond James Stadium on...
We get the 2020 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic bracket revealed.
Well, the teams for the 2020 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic has been revealed, and now it's time to see the matchups in this year's tournament.
Well, the first round is comprised of 4 huge matches, including a battle pitting the NXT Tag Team Champions against the NXT UK Tag Team Champions. The first round battles include...
Imperium, which is Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner versus the Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler.
You've got Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, or the Broserweights, as it should be called, versus Mark Andrews and Flash Webster Morgan.
We've got the Grizzled Young Vets versus Kushida and a mystery opponent.
And the NXT UK Tag Team Champions Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus NXT Tag Team Champions The Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. So, Dan, picks for the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic. Who are you going for in this one?
I've got to go for the Broserweights. I mean, I'm wearing a Matt Riddle t-shirt. I'm a Pete Dunne.
I'm going to go for Kushida and his mystery opponent then. So I'll go for that. It might be someone shit. I was reading the article and someone says on a serious website they were going, oh, and Kushida's partner might be Nakamura. And I thought,
what, because they're both Asian?
Japanese? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how fucking racist must he be?
I was like, that is disgusting. I mean, if it is Nakamura, it's cool, but it won't. Kushida, so I'll go for them too. So, tournament rules as it was, so we know what that means, don't we?
1 point for a knockout.
1 point advance, 2 points winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do it like that and we'll see how it goes along with that. But it's good that there's been no spoilers yet for the Dusty Classic, so we can actually take part this time round. And talk about things are changing. BT's time is now.
Well, BT Sport in the UK today announced that they'll be airing both NXT and NXT UK, going all in with WWE programming, which also for Raw, SmackDown and all WWE pay-per-views.
This will be the first time that NXT and NXT UK will air on television in the United Kingdom, and the first time that NXT UK will be on regular TV anywhere in the world.
NXT will air live at 1 a.m. local time, and the first show will start tomorrow, or better yet, January the 2nd, early in the morning. Broadcast details for NXT UK will be announced in the near future. Both shows will also remain on the WWE network.
This is a great move, especially for NXT UK. No word yet on TakeOver, but the Royal Rumble's on BT Sport pay-per-view, much like the Conor McGregor fight, which I will not be paying £25 for.
Well, having seen the adverts and time spent by BT, WWE might have a great new home, and they're also showing WWE 24 shows and more.
Yeah, they had the Becky Lynch one on there the other day, so anybody with BT Sport, they are, really going for it. So it's a good time. There's a £25 monthly pass you can get, or, you can get the app if you have got BT. If you've got internet from BT, you get the sports app, and you can see WWE action on there as well. Some people might not know. Anyway, UK champion Walter had his championship belt stolen along with his passport ahead of an Evolve Wrestling event in Chicago. The theft, which included Walter's passport, occurred during a smash and grab of Walter's rental car.
Well, additional details as per the report, and we are told that Timothy Thatcher's rental car was also broken into and he had property stolen in the smash and grab. We are told by several wrestlers that there have been recent rash of cars being broken into near Logan Square in Chicago, where tonight's Evolve 142 event is slated to be held.
Walter's scheduled to face Evolve champ Jeff Briggs in the main event tonight's show. The Perfect World authorities will find the belt thief in time to put them into a triple threat against Walter and Thatcher just to see what would happen. We'll keep you updated on the hopeful relocation of the UK Championship. Hopefully the culprit getting chopped until his rib cage collapses.
So were they trying to copy the Chris Jericho?
It looks that way, doesn't it? It wasn't a great year for title belts.
No, well, WWE NXT UK superstar Piper Niven announced on Friday on social media that she is suffering from Bell's palsy.
She tweeted, "Who's got two thumbs, a funny face and has Bell palsy?"
Jim Ross?
No, she was talking about herself. According to the Mayo Clinic, Bell palsy is a condition that weakens the facial muscles temporarily and causes half of one's face to appear to be drooping.
Well, WWE Hall of Famer and current AEW announcer Jim Ross is another notable sufferer of Bell's palsy in the wrestling industry.
Well, the 28-year-old Niven is a native of Scotland, has officially been under a WWE contract since March when she debuted on NXT UK. Prior to that, Niven appeared in the first Mae Young Classic in 2017 and reached the quarterfinals.
Well, Niven first made a name for herself wrestling throughout Europe and in Japan from 2009 to 2019 under the alias Viper.
Well, since joining NXT UK, Niven has mixed up with many of the top women on the show, including Rhea Ripley, Ginny and Jazzy Gabor.
Well, at NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2 in Blackpool, obviously, England on January the 12th, Niven is currently scheduled to challenge Toni Storm and NXT UK Women's Champ Kaylee Ray in a triple threat match.
Okay, so we'll stop there for NXT action. That is all of NXT in America done. We'll move on to NXT UK in a bit, but we just want to stop for a second because we're going to have a bit of a New Japan Pro Wrestling talk for the first time ever on the WNR podcast. Next you an NJPW event, Wrestle Kingdom 14 across 2 nights. So what we're going to do, we're not going to bring you both events. We're going to select matches across, because of course we've got the Magnificent 7, haven't we, Dan? The 7 greatest wrestlers, and we've got the luxury of seeing Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. in action next week alongside John Moxley and of course Chris Jericho as well. It's available on Fight TV here in the UK. It's $50, so it's going to cost about £40 to get both events. I think it's low.
Can we start up a GoFundMe for it?
If anybody wants to donate money for us to start watching stuff on Fight TV, it is available on the Amazon Fire Stick, so you can get it on the internet. I think we can get it on our massive 100-inch screen as well, so we'll see what we can do there.
Like a wall.
So, Barney's. It is like Barney's TV.
Shipped in on a tanker.
Well, we mentioned one of the Magnificent 7, Will Ospreay, and now he's got a big match next week, and we're just going to hype it up a little bit right now.
Yes, well, after being away from wrestling since July 7th, 2018, Hiromu Takahashi had made his return to New Japan Pro Wrestling on November the 3rd this year. I mean, what an absolutely beautiful date that is. After Will Ospreay defeated Hiromu's Los Ingobernables de Japón unit mate, Bushi in the V3 defence of his current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship reign. Friendly confrontation, the two agreed to meet each other at Wrestle Kingdom 14 in an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Hiromu was the first reigning champion at the time of his injury and was forced to vacate due to being unable to defend the title.
Well, rumour has it that Hiromu has been healthy since June, but was also held back until he could make a Wrestle Kingdom 14 splash, which gave more time to rehab and come back, well rested and perhaps in the best shape of his career.
Will Ospreay will be IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champ for over 200 days since his Wrestle Kingdom 14, once Wrestle Kingdom 14 kicks off on January the 4th. His historic run in the New Japan Cup, Best of the Super Juniors 2019 winner, and the G1 Climax showed just how much potential Ospreay has to become a major draw in NJPW.
Major draw. Hiromu's return. He made his official return match headlines in the December 19th Road to Tokyo Dome show, where he and Bushi team up to face Birds of Prey, Will Ospreay and Robbie Eagles. Hiromu will also wrestle on the 20th and 21st for the Wrestle Kingdom 14 match against Ospreay.
While some have questioned Hiromu wrestling prior to Wrestle Kingdom, his doing so is unlikely to negatively affect ticket sales. Currently, both Wrestle Kingdom 14 events are selling at record pace. And
due to the extra time off, Hiromu is likely physically ready for his return and shouldn't have any problems wrestling near the level fans are accustomed to seeing from him.
Well, what to expect from Ospreay?
Well, some feel Ospreay the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Others share rumours that Ospreay wants to lead a unit of junior heavyweights that will challenge the heavyweights for supremacy in NJPW, and a portion of his fan base simply refer to him as Sex Pig.
Well, Hiromu and Ospreay share an interesting rivalry where they called each other a frenemy due to their light-hearted banter and hard-hitting matches. Fans of NJPW have grown to expect Ospreay to have a great match whenever he steps into the ring, and Hiromu was developing a for himself before his serious neck injury.
Well, Hiromu and Ospreay may have many fans match of the night, which could go a long way in raising the value of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Well, NJPW is next week, but right now it is time for NXT UK.
Yeah, well, we've got 8 episodes to catch up with, and we start off with the 14th of November.
When NXT UK comes to us from Brentford, Essex, one last time. Tyler Bate faces Cassius Ohno in the main event.
Our first match, though, is Kaylee Ray defeating Zia Brookside via pinfall in a non-title match.
Well, Ray controlled the early stages of the match, but perhaps underestimated Brookside's ability to escape from holds. She got the win with a gory bomb.
We get a video package playing us to remind us of Ilya Dragunov's alliance with Gallus.
Piper Niven did a heartbeat piece to camera where she talked about how important it is to be a role model as a plus-size athlete. She also touched on her history as an independent wrestler where she made the ICW Women's Championship a world title.
Well, Travis Banks defeated Ligero via pinfall.
Well, Banks did not see Joseph Connor's attack on Ligero on the outside. Ligero was then hit with a slice of heaven and a Kiwi crusher which gave Banks the win. After their draw a few weeks ago, Ligero was a bit more aggressive and carried a bit more intensity to match Banks.
Well, after the match, Joseph Connors attacked both Ligero and Banks and claimed that he is takeover worthy whilst wearing a t-shirt for the WUK Championship Tournament in 2017.
Well, a video was played hyping the debut of Ridge Holland, or formerly known as Luke Menzies, who is set for action in his hometown of Hull next week.
William Regals in the NXT UK Performance Centre was asked why by Jim Smallman. Regal suggested he might poach some UK General Manager Johnny Saint's talent.
Well, Alexander Wolf interrupted the conversation, begging Johnny Saint for a match against Ilya Dragunov. Saint discussed the idea with his assistant Sid Scala, and the match was made official.
Ilya Dragunov faces Alexander Wolf next week.
Tyler Bate defeated Cassius Ono via pinfall.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very good main event. Ono missed a huge moonsault, which Bate capitalised upon by hitting a German suplex for a near fall. And after a closely competitive match, Bate won the match with a Tyler Driver 97 in the middle of the ring.
Well, NXT UK returns Thursday at 8 p.m, featuring Ilya Dragunov versus Alexander Wolf and the debut of Ridge Holland. This episode will be the first to air from this weekend's taping at the Bonus Arena in Hull.
Yeah, so let's get to it then. The first of 6 episodes. It's the 21st of November, and our first match is Trent Seven defeating Connor Reeves via pinfall.
Well, Seven got the win with a Birmingham hammer after the match. Eddie Dennis grabbed his hand and stared him down.
Dragunov told Radzi that Alexander Wolf was rough with him back in Dresden and that he did not respect Dragunov as his own person.
A-Kid defeated Jack Stars via submission.
Stars got a decent amount of offense, but A-Kid was a focus of this match.
With Jazzy Gabert by her side, Ginny told Radzi that Piper Niven is not championship material.
The grizzled young veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, cut an in-ring promo stating that it would still be NXT UK Tag Team Champions had it not been for the three-way stipulation at TakeOver Cardiff. Gibson went to say that they need to be on TakeOver Blackpool too.
Jordan Devlin did a hilarious presentation where he showed highlights of his NXT UK matches. He then went on to call out A-Kid, who thinks he has what it takes because Tyler Bate endorses him.
We had Ridge Holland debuting, defeating Oliver Carter via pinfall.
Holland got the win with his Northern Grit scoop slam. Ashton Smith helped Carter back up after his loss.
Well, Travis Banks, Ligero and Joseph Connors all cut short promos to camera. Banks said that he did not intend on winning the three-way match the way he did. Ligero said the fans were robbed, whilst Connors is happy that he made an impact.
While Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter were walking backstage, Noam Dar walked past.
He implied that Smith and Carter are fans of his and tried to patronise them, but Smith challenged Dar to a match next week.
And Piper Niven versus Ginny is set for next week as well. So the main event is Alexander Wolf versus Ilya Dragunov.
Wolf won with a powerbomb after interference from Imperium. Gallus saved Dragunov from a post-match beatdown, then Walter and Joe Coffey both grabbed the WWE UK title after the brawl.
And confirmed for next week is Piper Niven versus Ginny and Jordan Devlin versus A-Kid.
Well, it's November
28th and NXT UK once again emanates from the Bonus Arena in Hull with a big main event pitching Imperium against Gallus and Ilya Dragunov.
Our first match is Piper Niven defeating Ginny with Jazzy Gabert via pinfall.
Well, Jazzy Gabert got barred from ringside after putting her hands on Niven. Niven's pinfall victory came after hitting Ginny with a Michinoku driver.
After the match, Piper Niven cut a promo directed at Kaylee Ray saying that she's coming for the NXT UK Women's Championship.
Title across her shoulder.
And she's not backing down from Piper Niven.
There's no way that she would.
Oh!
Well, she looks set to jaw with Piper Niven, but hits her with a slap, starts jawing, and then gets hit with a slap of her own. And Piper Niven with a back suplex and just flattens her.
Well, Kaylee Ray got the wrong side of Piper Niven. He's looking to be NXT UK Women's Champion. Wait a minute!
No, from behind, Tony Storm comes and attacks Kaylee Ray. Scares her into the ring and into the waiting arms of Piper Niven, who set her up for a spear.
Well, this is the first time we've seen Tony Storm since losing the TakeOver. And she's back. She means business. And Kaylee Ray getting out of harm's way. And Piper Niven Tony Storm getting involved in Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray. And are you pleased to see Tony Storm back?
I am always pleased to see Tony Storm. She's a brilliant athlete. And it was only a matter of time before she was going to make her return and target the woman who took her title from her.
And Piper Niven is serious about the threat as well. As we continue NXT, and Eddie Dennis was in action defeating Duress Gordon via pinfall.
Well, this was Dennis's in-ring return after left pectoral injury took him out for 8 months. This is also Duress Gordon's NXT UK debut, and commentary described him as being under Trent Seven's wing. Gordon left a very good impression here, showing tremendous agility. He hit a 7 stars lariat before finishing with a neck stop driver for the win.
Well, Joseph Connors told Razzie that he is takeover worthy and that he wants Travis Banks and Ligero in a triple threat match.
Well, Noam Dar defeated Ashton Smith via pinfall.
Well, this match came after Smith challenged Dar last week. Dar got the win with another roller.
Well, 2 matches were set for next week. It was Jordan Devlin versus A-Kid and Travis Banks versus Ligero versus Joseph Connors.
And our main event, Imperium, which is Walter, Marcel Barthel, Fabian Knightley and Alexander Wolf versus Gallus, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and our Juggernaut ended in a double count-out.
Well, WWE UK champion Walter remained outside the ring throughout most of the match. He stood off against Joe Coffey when he finally made it into the ring. Wolfgang and Mark Coffey's tandem offense was particularly impressive. Dragunov and Wolf started fighting in the crowd and then everybody else brawled, causing the double count-out.
We'll move on to our next episode, December 5th, and Gallus and Imperium head to the negotiation table, but will there be a resolution or conflict?
Well, Tony Storm defeats Killer Kelly via pinfall in a first match.
Yeah, I think we all knew he was going to win this one. Tony Storm withstood a barrage from Killer Kelly to see her off with the Storm Zero.
Well, post-match, NXT UK Women's Champ Kaylee Ray attacked Storm only for Piper Niven to make the save. Niven offered her hand to Tony, who walked off.
Oh, so is there going to be a teaming up, or is it going to be good friends, better enemy? Review South Wales sub-coaches spoke about the Grizzled Young Veterans and Gallus, and asked NXT UK General Manager for another shot at the NXT UK Tag Team titles at Takeover Blackpool 2.
Well, we see during the break that Tony Storm and Piper Niven argue in the back. Storm says she doesn't need Niven, she just needs her title.
Our next match, The Hunt, Primate and Wild Boar defeated the Outliers, Dorian Mack and Riddick Moss via pinfall.
Well, the Wild Tandem saw off the physically impressive duo from NXT US after Wild Boar withstood a brutal assault from Mack and Moss to tag in Primate, who ran wild. The Hunt picked up the win with a double headbutt from the top rope.
Well, Jordan Devlin defeated A-Kid via pinfall in our next match.
Well, this match was a phenomenal sprint. 10 minutes of non-stop action. These two went back and forth. Devlin working the leg of A-Kid and the Spanish superstar counteracting with the impact offense, such as an unreal moonsault DDT. A-Kid has some hope until Devlin punted him right in the face and hit the Devlin slide, as Tyler Bate looked on.
Well, Jenny cuts a promo about Piper Niven beating her. She says that loss and Jazzy Gabert being ejected was disrespectful. She says everything between the two are fine, but things don't seem too rosy. Or Jamal.
Joseph Connors defeated Travis Banks and Ligero via pinfall.
Well, Connors managed to use the athletic rivalry between Banks and Ligero against them to sneak away with a win. Connors was neutralised early on by Ligero, and the Kiwi Buzzsaw used his wrestling nous to keep himself in it. All three men gave it all, hitting their big moves, and it would be Connors sending Banks into Ligero and dropping Travis with the Don't Look Down to pick up the win.
Cassius Ohno cuts a promo about his match with Tyler Bate, saying Bate made him lose his cool and lose sight that he is here to wrestle the European style. He vows to not use any more boots and elbows, traditional Brit rest moves.
Well, we then have a summit between Gallus member Joe Coffey and WWE United Kingdom champion Volta. Coffey says that the boys in Imperium will get hurt by the Gallus firm. Joe Coffey wants a shot at the United Kingdom Championship, but Walter wants something in return. Wolfgang to defend their tag team titles against Imperium, and our Dragunov face Alexander Wolf in a no disqualification match. Kofi cannot negotiate over something he has no control over here, but Dragunov interrupts. He demands the agreement is made, and Coffey v Walter is confirmed for Takeover Blackpool.
That should be a huge hitting match. Well, Walter calls back Dragunov, who is grabbed by Alexander Wolf and jumped by Imperium. Here is put through the table by Wolf and Imperium stand tall to close the show.
Yeah, so that's what we've got. We've got a big build-up between, Gallus and Imperium. We've got in Imperium, like we said earlier on NXT, they've at Worlds Collide, they've got to face the Undisputed Era as well. So it's going to be a huge month for them as they go along. But December 12th, exactly 1 month away from NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2, and the card is beginning to take shape.
But back to tonight, and Kaylee Ray defeated Isla Dawn via pinfall in a non-title match.
Well, Ray got the win with a gory bomb. Dawn was quite competitive until the point, despite Ray targeting her legs.
Well, after the match, Kaylee Ray cut a promo saying that she is still in the mind of Toni Storm and that she has Piper Niven rattled. A seemingly unfazed Niven walked down to the ring but was overtaken by Toni Storm, who went for Ray. Storm and Niven stood off in the ring as Ray walked away.
As a result, Sis Scala came out to announce that Kaylee Ray will defend the NXT UK Women's Championship against Toni Storm and Piper Niven at TakeOver Blackpool 2 in what will be an incredible match as well.
That will be a huge, hard-hitting affair. Well, Jordan Devlin made another presentation, this time belittling Tyler Bates' NXT UK's career. He pointed out Bates' losing efforts against the grizzled young vets and Volta.
Well, Joe Coffey has asked what it would mean to him to become the UK champion. He said it is the biggest score that NXT UK has to offer, and that is the biggest guy holding it. Coffey promised to leave his mark on Walter and Imperium.
Do you reckon there'll be a handprint on his chest?
I think so. Well, he came out short against Pete Dunne, didn't he, at the last Blackpool event? But will lightning strike twice? We'll have to find out.
Well, Michael May was set to debut in a match against Trent Seven, but he was attacked by Eddie Dennis before the match could begin. Dennis exited through the crowd as Seven helped May back to the back.
Radzi asked Noam Dar, but is claiming that he's contractually guaranteed a takeover spot in the lead up to takeover Cardiff. He stopped General Manager Johnny Saintler's assistant Sis Scala to ask about his match, claiming that he's going on a vacation to Benidorm until his match is announced. Scala told him that his contract doesn't say what he thinks it does, and tells Dar that he's to face Tyler Bate next week.
That'd be a good match as well. Well, Ridge Holland defeated Jack
Stars via pinfall.
Holland pinned Stars after hitting his Northern Grip power slam. He absolutely manhandled his opponent in this match.
Kenny Williams was minding his own business in the NXT UK Performance Centre. He was reunited with Amir Jordan, who had been injured for 6 months. Williams seemed excited to team with his own partner yet again.
And then our main event is the NXT UK Tag Team Championship match. Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus Imperium, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barth. I was going to say, you get the intros done, but before even he can do that with the ring announcements, you can tell how much the two groups dislike each other. It's Wolfgang on the attack straight away on Barthel. Sorry, on Eichner, really. I mean, I can't really get those two confused. And Imperium recently, you know, they talk about dominance, and NXT UK titles is something they definitely want to get. It was a bit of a surprise Gallus actually winning the titles from Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews, wasn't it, really?
Especially so soon after they won them.
Yeah, exactly. And now you've got Gallus, who's got the titles there, of course, Joe Coffey, who wants the UK Championship. Is this the right direction? I thought it would be British Strong Style, but it seems Gallus have taken it up now. I mean, is that the right choice to go against the Imperium, do you reckon?
I think it is, yeah. It's, you know, it is a good match. You know, these 4 big guys. I can't wait for the grizzled young vets to get back into the fold, though.
Yeah, I think without doubt, I think, like you talk about, they've said that they deserve a rematch, and I think that is quite right. And what of Tyler Bate and Trent Seven seem to, you know, maybe not be a tag team as much. You know, Pete Dunne is struggling in America after picking up a couple of losses along the way. And at the moment, you know, Gallus and Imperium have got great records leading into this. And Walter, I think he wants to test his troops. To him, look, you know, I'll give you a title match. I want to have these 2 matches here. And you can definitely see with Alexander Wolf versus Dragunov, that's we're going to be showing later on tonight as well. It's definitely the feud going along. But are Gallus faces at the moment, or is it just Imperium are just really heels?
I think they're the more heely of the two. I think, you know, they're both still heelish, but Imperium's kind of overtaken Gallus, because Gallus used to be the top heels, and then Imperium have kind of formed, and they've taken the Gallus. They might turn them slightly facey in the process. I don't know.
I think it's helped Gallus out recently, you know, like we've got a bit more relevant in NXT UK after a bit of a shaky start. And we talk about Mark and Wolfgang as a team. They have, for 2 big men, as it was, they've definitely got a few double team moves that are very impressive. And of course, Wolfgang, my pick in the UK tournament way back when. So
do you think they saw Joe Coffey as someone, you know, too big to be teaming with Mark Coffey? Someone that can go it alone, as opposed to, you know, being a co-tag team title holder with his brother?
I think I was surprised that Joe Coffey is still getting another opportunity, you know, especially when he's kind of been there and done that. I might have seen the Coffey brothers as a better tag team, but Wolfgang as a singles competitor, I think Joe's probably the most credible out of Gallus to challenge Walter, I think would be fair.
I think so too, yeah. You know, who else is going to challenge Walter? Jordan Devlin?
Yeah, well, yeah.
There's not really, you know, many viable options for him to face that could result in anything other than a complete demolishing for the opponent.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And we've seen some big tag teams in WWE and Gallus among them, but like I said, double team efforts taking Eichner out the ring, now setting Barthel up.
He had him up on there, up on his shoulders, looking for a Samoan drop, but a rake to the eyes and sending him shoulder first into the ring post. And tandem Barthel and Eichner just concentrating on the head of Coffey.
Well, this is a great place for these young guys to come and learn. Eichner and Barthel have not been a team for too long, but definitely improving as we see them, month in, month out. And that's why NXT UK is still a development league as well. Let's not forget, people aren't really made stars, but I think Gallus would be suited on the main roster of Imperium. I think this is a perfect place for them right now. And I think gold is in their future at some point.
Absolutely. I don't think they're going to do kind of like the Undisputed Era run, but, they have got a bit of a goldy future.
Whether that be in NXT UK or NXT or even on the main roster, it's there to put forward and impress. You can see Reitner and Barthel just doing what any great tag team does, cutting off the ring. Quick tags as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's, it's a good style of wrestling. You can tell these two teams really hate each other. Their factions are kind of been squaring off, and they had their double count out the other week. It's, it is good storytelling. It's, from NXT UK. I think they're taking more of a page out of NXT's book than they are out of Raw and SmackDown's book.
And I think that's worked for them. And I think another thing that works for it is it's still only an hour programme. I think if it went to 2 hours, I think it might be a bit of an overkill, especially if you haven't got a secondary championship. You can just focus on the free, like NXT did. We talk about how great NXT was back in the day, where you focus on tag team titles 1 week, the champion. And with the Gallus and Imperium storyline, you get to follow all of it kind of at once.
Absolutely, yeah. And referee's thrown up the X, called for a doctor, and it looks like Mark Coffey's in a bit of a bad way at the moment.
This might be the end for him. And Mark saying, no, he wants to continue.
Did he say, come on, you fucking bastard? My lip reading's not that great. I'll hold my hands up to that, but it did look like he said that. And Barthel, he's not giving him an inch. He's taking it straight back to Mark.
I don't want to state the bleeding obvious, but it looks like Mark Coffey desperately needs a tag to Wolfgang. And Imperium aren't going to let that happen. Well, even if the match ended with referee calling the bell and the opponent couldn't continue, that would make Imperium tag team champions, I would assume. That's how Brock Lesnar used to do it back in the day, wasn't it? Beating out the Hardy Boys and stuff.
Yeah.
You couldn't say no contest.
No, you couldn't really. It's knockout, isn't
it?
Yeah. But, Mark Coffey, not one to give up just like that. And he gets Irish whipped into the Imperium corner. Takes out Barthel and then deposits Eichner over the top rope. Can he get to Wolfgang before the Imperium tag team recover?
Well, he's looking for the hot tag. Mark just inches away, but here comes Eichner.
Backdrop though, tags him Wolfgang.
And here he comes, and he's on fire, baby.
Clotheslining anything that moves. Irish whip to the corner, follows up with a crossbody. Jumps over the rope and takes out Eichner.
There's no doubt Wolfgang is an agile big man as he comes off the top.
Double axe handle smash. I like the old classic
See, there
moves.
you go. Bring him something back. And now looking to maybe Barthel away in the gorilla press.
Eichner comes in, tries disrupting it, but he just gets his tag team partner thrown at his face. Fucking hell. Lovely variation of a suplex there. Into the cover, but no, just a 2 count.
2.
That was a variation that I've never seen before in my life.
Well, Wolfgang definitely bringing it. Maybe this wasn't the best idea, but Mark's recovered a little bit on the apron.
But is he fully fit? Well, the move that doesn't work into the Samoan drop for the cover. 2. No, just a 2 count.
2. Eichner keeps his team in it for now. But with Barthel nowhere to be seen.
As far as tag team moves, that was quite lame. Looks like there's a bit of blood on Eichner's head. He's now fighting back. Knocks Wolfgang off the apron. Catches hold of a charging Mark Coffey. Blind tag in, but he gets taken out on the apron. Barthel is the legal man, but Eichner's still in the ring. Barthel gets deposited over the top rope. Was supposed to land on the edge of the ring apron. Slipped off. Landed on his backside on them wafer-thin mats. Wolfgang nips into the ring. He gets caught with a huge spine buster, followed up with a punt. 1, 2, no.
Well,
Wolfgang managing to kick out.
Somehow, I don't know how, but
My thoughts exactly, James. That was a lovely little transition of moves there, especially after the little butt drop on the outside. He recovered quickly from that, and didn't let it affect his momentum.
And now he's going to look to put Wolfgang away as he sends him into his corner with Eichner getting the tag in.
Barthel loads up Wolfgang and takes his position on the second rope. But Mark Coffey comes in and just grabs the leg. Oh, fucking hell.
Mark Coffey getting tangled in the apron as he falls down. Now we've got a 2-on-1
situation. The Wolfgang doing the best he can to fight out from it. Gets shoved against the ropes, looking for a double clothesline. But sent face first into the mat with a flatliner. Deadlift German. But Mark's back in.
He looks resilient as he says Eichner to the outside and starts training with Marcel Barthel.
Yay, nay punches as the two are just slugging it out. Mark Coffey gets the upper hand. Barcel's looking out on his feet, ducks a huge right and catches a right of his own. He's running uppercut in the corner, step up in Seguri. Lovely suplex. Comes off top, no, into a huge elbow from Mark. Eichner with a rolling senton.
Springboard moonsault. Wolfgang's up, hits a spear takedown. That's like a spear rock bottom.
And now all 4 men are down.
And exhausted. Well, a plat halfway down it.
Qui-Gon Jinn style. Well, all 4 men are down. Oh my God, wait a
Well, I
minute.
mentioned the Grizzled Young Vets. They've come to ringside.
Grabbed hold of the tag team titles and are making their way out of here.
They're stealing the gold.
What's quite funny about that is the Scousers stealing.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. The Welshmen are here. Flash
Yeah.
Morgan Webster Mandrews.
Well, the Welsh massive subculture, something or other, and the match gets thrown out.
Oh, that's a
But
shame.
we get a huge battle in the ring now. All 8 guys. And surely
Don't call me Shirley.
this is going to lead to a huge 8-man tag for the tag team titles.
Well, it looks that way, but it's a shame a match of that quality had to end in that way.
But it's best way to save both teams. And our Mandrew's going off at it with Mark Coffey. The Grizzled Young Vets drag Morgan Webster Flash out the ring. Springboard's over, takes out the Grizzled Young Vets. Oh, Wolfgang takes out his own partner, but both members of Imperium.
It's worth the risk as all 8 men are fighting. Wait a minute.
Johnny Saint and Sid Scala make their way to the ring though. Well, it looks like Sid Scala and Johnny Saint are the new tag team champions.
Wow. So Sid Scala saying next time you see these titles, they'll be hanging high when they face off in a ladder match. 4-team ladder match.
Well, he's just announced that it's going to be a 4-way ladder match for the tag team titles because they will not have them being disrespected in this manner.
And what a match that will be at TakeOver. And like I said, the card is starting to take shape. We know what's happening with the 3 main titles now. We've got Walter versus for the NXT title.
We've got the 8-man tag team match for the tag team titles. Imperium, Gallus, South Wales Subculture Massive, and the Grizzled Young Vets.
Yeah, and what a match that should be as well. And of course, we know the NXT Women's Championship is going to be on the line. Triple threat. Tony Storm, Piper Niven, and of course the NXT UK Women's Champion Kay Lee Ray. But we still move on December 19th, our next episode, and it's going to be Bate versus Dar.
Well, as we head towards the year end, will the card for NXT UK's first big event of 2020 take shape?
I think so. Well, our first match, Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan defeating Pretty Deadly, Sam Stoker and Lewis Howley via pinfall.
Well, Pretty Deadly took control from here, focusing on Jordan and his shoulder. Jordan fought back when a double team flapjack went wrong for Pretty Deadly. Williams got the hot tag and flew with a flying clothesline and double suicide dive to the outside. A sling blade to Howley shortly after, got a 2 count.
2.
When Stoker broke the count. Williams fought back with a springboard double back elbow and Jordan picked up the win moments later with a swanton bomb A.
Well, we had an exclusive from last week with Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner. They think it's a disgrace they need to fight in a ladder match at TakeOver Blackpool for the NXT UK Tag Team titles.
Ligero was backstage talking about Cassius Ohno, saying that he had nothing but respect for him since they met years ago. He talked about them fighting earlier this year in New York and Ohno cheating to win that match. He said it didn't matter how much respect he had for Ohno because Ohno had none for him. And they will meet in 2 weeks.
Well, Trent Seven then came to the ring for the promo. He talked about Eddie Dennis and the recent situation with Michael May.
Well, this brought out Dennis, who stood on the stage and stared at Seven while he talked about Dennis's time off with an injury. Dennis got closer to the ring while Seven talked about the early days of NXT UK. But when Dennis slowly got into the ring, he sucker punched Seven with the microphone right in the forehead, cutting him open. He then said, "I'll see you at TakeOver Blackpool."
We then had a video package for the Katie Ray v Tony Storm versus Piper Niven triple threat match for TakeOver Blackpool. Niven doesn't like it when friends have become, and both Ray and Storm promised to leave with the championship.
Well, Ginny with Jazzy Gabert defeated Amil via pinfall.
Yeah, Ginny made short work of the French Hope Pumlo, hitting the makeover for the win.
Well, post-match, Gabert flattened Amil with a short-arm clothesline after the bell. But Ginny demanded another and another. But Gabert had second thoughts after Ginny demanded the third and walked out on her so-called accomplice.
Well, maybe Gabert doesn't want to be taking orders anymore. Volta announced that in 2 weeks' time, Alexander Wolf will face Aya Dragunov for the advantage going into Takeover Blackpool.
Well, Tyler Bate versus Noam Dar was our final match.
Yeah, it's a fantastic match. It went back and forth right until the end. Dar was out to prove himself to NXT UK General Manager Johnny Saint to prove he's good enough to wrestle at a takeover.
Well, they had a good technical start that eventually migrated into both going for their signature moves.
And what a great match this has been. And I mean, Dar just missed out on the Magnificent Seven just. I mean, Tyler Bate is, of course, partly illustrious list, but made the WNR the new top 50 as well. So he's a great wrestler. And it's been back and forth so far. And Dar, of course, trying to target Bate, but we know how much punishment Bate can take.
But he manages a standing switch, grabs the leg, getting another variation of a suplex I've not seen, into the cover, but only a 2 count.
2. And Tyler Bate now trying to get to his feet. And of course, he'll be trying to forget about the defeat to Walter at the last takeover. Try and build success then. And Dar, who said he deserves a spot at every takeover, wants to prove his worth here tonight. And Bate now manages to get to his feet.
Running, shooting star, but Dar catching with the knees up. Into a cover, but only a 2 count.
2. Dar now with a nice uppercut.
Upper what? Tyler with the old Bate and switch, but Dar not falling. Plants in face first into the mat, into another cover, but Bate again managing to kick out.
And Dar now might be getting a little bit frustrated, but he's just got to keep on Tyler Bate, the very first UK champion. There's no doubt the fans love him. And it's now Dar going to try and finish now.
Pinky's up.
Is he going to try the Nova Roller?
No, Bate with a step up Insecurity. Catches Dar on the way in. Wow, Bate looking for the rebound, but he gets caught by Dar.
And the leg's been worked on the majority of the match, and now Dar has got it synced in.
The Champagne Super Knee Bar.
That's probably one of the greatest names of a move I've ever heard. And he's got Bate in serious trouble.
Tyler just fingertips away from the rope, manages to get there. Dar breaks the hold.
You can see Dar, the look on his face. The fans shouting, a big strong boy. Bate trying to get back into it. But Dar's really taking it to Tyler tonight.
Bate with a couple of elbows to Dar's midsection. Trying to get his way back into this, but he just gets his leg kicked out. Turns Tyler Bate inside out. Follows up with a huge kick to the head. 2. No. Bate still managing to get the shoulder up at 2.
2. And the frustration there now. Dar looking at the referee. Can't believe it. He's going to go back to that leg now, the bottom rope. Here comes Dar.
A double foot stomp from the top. But gets caught with a rolling heel kick.
And that might knock Noam out. Bate with one leg managing to make his way to the top.
But Dar rolls to the outside. Trying to find some sanctuary. But that's not going to stop Tyler Bate. Kick off the apron. Now Tyler's going flying over the top rope. Takes out Dar.
That is beautiful from Tyler Bate. Didn't even go near to the top. Could have gone across a fourth rope if it was there. That's the dive. Throws Dar back in, looks to end it.
For the Tyler driver. But Bate turns it into a roll-up. But no, still only a 2.
2. And Dar seems to have an answer for everything Bate's doing at the moment. Bate's got to just try and get through both men exchanging forearms.
Dar kicking the leg of Bate out. Misses with a kick to the head though. Gets caught with a huge uppercut.
And then Dar with a kick to the arm and now twisted him round.
Tyler Bate fighting back. Looking for the rebound clothesline. Into a cover. 1, 2. No.
Oh, what a beautiful move that is by Bate. But Dar somehow managed to kick out.
Ah.
And this is the case of just both men giving everything they've got here tonight in the ring. Now Bate trying to...
They've got a bit of a distraction now. Jordan Devlin.
Oh, Devlin's coming out. And Dar now with a roll-up. 1, 2... Oh. Dar thinks he's won it, but Bate managed to kick out.
Ah.
And then a huge right hand by Bate to Dar. And as he looks at Devlin, hits a Tyler driver 97. And oh, my man, Noam Dar, comes up just short there, even with the interference. And here comes Devlin. And as Devlin comes in, he faces off with Tyler Bate. And Bate's saying, if you want to go, I'm ready right now. And Devlin, I think, wisely getting out of the ring. Tyler Bate looking on. I think this fight will be for another day. Or Bates saying to him, you want me so bad? What about that NXT Takeover? And Devlin looks smirking, saying, all right, I'll do that.
With his large noggin.
He wasn't smirking.
No, James, he wasn't smoking. He didn't have a cigarette in his gob. He just got a big bonce.
So what did you think of the match between Dar and Bate?
I thought it was very entertaining. Yeah, it certainly shows that Dar is willing and able to hang with, a former NXT UK champ holder.
Yeah, and it was just a kind of back and forth match that really helps build up. And Dar, thinking he won it right towards the end, just coming up short. And Devlin, again, being going to be featured at TakeOver versus Tyler Bate. But Bate looks like a star as well coming out this. So I think a good job all the way round. So we move on to December 26th, the Boxing Day edition of NXT UK.
Well, this was a best of special, also used as a hype vehicle for NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2. Unlike 205 Live's best of upload, the matches were not shown in full. Other highlights were shown beyond what is listed below.
Well, NXT UK Women's Championship, Toni Storm defeated Rhea Ripley by pinfall from NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2019.
NXT UK Women's Championship, Kaylee Ray defeated Toni Storm by pinfall from NXT UK Takeover Cardiff 2019.
NXT UK Tag Team Championship, Grizzled Young Veterans Zach Gibson and James Drake defeated Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven and Tyler Bate by pinfall at NXT Takeover UK Blackpool 2019.
NXT UK Women's Championship, Kaylee Ray defeated Toni Storm by pinfall from NXT UK Takeover Cardiff 2019.
NXT UK Tag Team Championship, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews defeated Grizzled Young Veterans Zach Gibson, James Drake and Gallus, Mark Coffey and Wolfgang by pinfall, NXT UK Takeover Cardiff 2019.
Trent Seven defeated Noam Dar by pinfall from the October 24th edition of NXT UK TV.
Additionally, Toni Storm, Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, Dave Mastiff, Jordan Devlin, Joe Coffey, Grizzly Young Veterans, Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews, Tom Phillips and Nigel McGuinness appeared on the programme or were highlighted in some form. The special was hosted by NXT UK commentators Tom Phillips and Nigel McGuinness.
And also they promoed for next week is a no DQ match, Ilya Dragunov versus Alexander Wolf. And Ligero versus Cassius Ohno.
Alright, so let's get on to our last episode of NXT UK on this episode, and it's January 2nd, and it's the first one of the new year.
Well, the show opens with General Manager Johnny Saint and Sid Scala announcing the addition of 2 matches to NXT TakeOver Blackpool 2. Eddie Dennis will face off against Trent Seven, while former champ Tyler Bate tangles with the Irish ace Jordan Devlin.
Well, Tom Phillips and Nigel McGuinness welcome us to another edition of NXT UK from Hull, England. The Hype Evening's main event, which will see Imperium's Alexander Wolf go one-on-one with Ilya Dragunov in a no disqualification matchup.
Well, Dave Mastiff is out for the first opening contest. He'll be facing Conor Reeves. Reeves brings a microphone with him and tells the fans in Hull to shut their mouths. You disgusting, disrespectful NXT UK fans. Throw me off in my match against Trent Seven a few weeks ago. I was jet lagged. I didn't get the right nutrition. I didn't get enough sleep. Therefore, I wasn't ready. That is followed by heavy boos from the crowd. Reeves goes on to call Mastiff a monstrosity and doesn't belong in the same ring as him, and he insults Mastiff's family. So
Dave Mastiff versus Conor Reeves, and Mastiff nails Reeves with a huge right hand. Big shoulder block sends Reeves to the outside. Mastiff follows him out. Reeves smashes Mastiff off the apron and goes for a crossbody off the apron as well. Mastiff catches him low, and Reeves slips behind him and pushes him into the steel stairs. Reeves catches Mastiff with running knees. He's coming back into the ring. He traps Mastiff's head in the apron cover and unloads big strikes.
DDT for a near fall, and Mastiff gets to his feet. Running boot from Reeves sends him down again. Mastiff hulks up. He sends Reeves flying with a back body drop, then follows up with a released German suplex. Reeves falls into the corner, flying cannonball, and Mastiff gets the victory.
Yeah, so Mastiff wins the match and back to the arena, and Toni Storm is here. She gets a huge pop from the crowd. She addresses the NXT Universe. She said, after I lost the Women's Championship, had to go away for a while. Kaylee Ray, she really got in my head, and it sent me into a really dark place. Because of that, I owe someone an apology, someone I really do consider a good friend, someone I've known for a long time. Right now, I'd like to talk to Piper Niven.
Well, Niven meets Storm in the ring, and Storm begins, I owe you an apology. I was stupid enough to let Kaylee Ray drive a wedge between us. I'm so sorry, but before we move past this, I need a favour. My personal feelings with Ray are not over, so at TakeOver Blackpool, I'm going to need you to step aside. Storm promises Niven that she will give her a title shot as soon as she becomes champion.
Well, Niven responds, Tony, you know I love you. You know I love you. You always know how hard I've had to work just to even be here. I can't let an opportunity like this slip through my fingers. You had your chance here and I need to take mine. I'm sorry, but the answer is no. Storm goes to pull Niven. Niven headbutts her. This leads to a brawl. Several referees run out to separate them. They are successful. The champ Kaylee Ray appears laughing on the entrance.
Well, officials are able to gain control of the situation and the segment ends.
Well, Ligero's out next for a second bout of the day. He'll be facing the now dubbed wrestling genius Cassius Ohno.
Well, Ohno grabs a double wrist lock to start. Ligero breaks away and rocks Ohno with a forearm. Ohno screams at the ref for wrestle, not fight. Ligero makes Ohno pay with more strikes. Pace picks up a drop kick to the knee and Ohno goes for a stand-in senton but misses. A head scissor sends Ohno to ringside. He takes a second to recover as his new technique doesn't seem to be working. Ohno hits a jawbreaker on Ligero as he's coming back in the ring and a neck crank submission. Ohno transitions into a cravat but he refuses to throw a strike. Ligero battles out of the hold with an enziguri. He dumps Ohno and follows on Hilo. Back in the ring, Ligero climbs, missile dropkick connects, then we get a quick series of pin attempts. Ligero with a stunner, followed by a sunset bomb for a 2 count.
2!
Ohno retakes control and applies the Cassius clutch. Ligero fights to get to the ropes, he can't make it and taps.
So Ohno wins by submission and post-match. He cuts a promo. He says his match with Tyler Bate had an unfavourable outcome because he lost sight of what he wants to do in NXT UK. And that's to become the living embodiment of British. He says there isn't a soul backstage that knows a thing about British style. I am Cassius Ohno, and I am the greatest British wrestler alive. I mean, I just like to say, Cassius Ohno, it's great that you listen to the podcast, but unfortunately you do not qualify for the Magnificent Seven list of the greatest British wrestler alive.
That's exactly what he's trying to do.
I know.
Well, we cut to A-Kid from earlier this week, and he's talking about Tyler Bate and Jordan Devlin, when Joseph Connors interrupts to say that he's worthy to be on a takeover. He and Kid get a brief confrontation. Connors warns Kid that he isn't afraid to ruin things for him in the future.
Well, backstage, Dave Mastiff approaches Cassius Ohno to question his best British wrestler alive moniker. Mastiff challenged him to a match-up whenever Ohno feels ready.
Then we get tag team action next. It's Oliver Carter and Ashton Smith. They take on the Outliers, Dorian Mark and Riddick Moss. Carter and Moss begin, tie up. Moss shows off his strength and athleticism with a huge shoulder block. Carter kicks Ross in the face, then rocks him with a heel kick. Moss responds by back elbowing Carter and tagging in Mac. Mac tosses Carter to the corner and tells him to tag in Smith. Carter obliges. Smith charges at Mac. Mac lifts him with ease and brings him into the corner. Shoulder thrust to Smith's gut by Mac. He sends Smith across the ring, tags in Carter. Tandem offense including a double drop kick. Moss runs in, but Smith and Carter dump him as well. The Outliers try to regroup on the outside. It's a huge lariat onto Carter. Ross tags in and lays into Carter with strikes. Carter gets trapped in the Outliers corner. Pop-up lariat. Outliers double team for 2 count.
2. Well, Carter eventually tags in Smith. He strings together offense, including a running boot and a diving Yakuza kick. Moss slows Smith down with another shoulder thrust, but walks right into a cradle. Mark doesn't make it in time, and the Outliers lose yet again in upsetting fashion.
So yes, Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter win by pinfall.
Against the UK Tag Team Championship ladder match taking place at Takeover Blackpool 2. Teams competing are Morgan Flash Webster and Mandrews, Grizzly Young Veterans, Imperium's Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner, and the current champs, Gallus. Footage of ladder matches that take place throughout WWE history to hype up the danger of the stipulation. Well,
it's main event time. Ilya Dragunov is out first. Alexander Wolf is out second. No other members of Imperium accompany him. Dragunov meets Wolf at the entrance and they start brawling. Here we go.
So there you go, both men fighting. I do like the white background to see it. The referee's gone out there and these two men have got serious bad blood. They thought Dragunov would join Imperium and become part of it, but instead he turned against them. Of course, joined with Gallus. But do you think Dragunov would have been a good fit with Imperium?
I don't know. I like him as a kind of facey type person, to be fair.
Well, he's definitely bringing the face tensions here as he comes on the attack early. But Wolf just picking him up and sending him onto the apron. I think because he just thought the foreign invader, whatever it was, maybe it might have been a fit. But like you said, as a face, he could definitely bring something else. And Alexander Wolf coming down from NXT. But he's not backing out of Dragunov there. Beautiful senton. Managed to avoid Wolf. Throws Wolf to the outside, and now he's going to respond. 619 attempt, and Wolf manages to dodge out of the way. Gets up on the apron, but dropped with a knee. And now Dragunov comes down, diving crossbody. It's been a great match so far. Dragunov bringing it in the early going.
Well, he has certainly got the fans behind him. He throws Wolf back into the ring.
Well, if he can keep up this level of impact that he's shown at the start, there's no doubt he's definitely going to win this one. He's looking underneath the ring now. So
is Sanity or Wolf a better fit for Alexander Wolf?
Imperium, I think.
Yeah.
I think they work well. I think what we've seen of him recently, the kind of feud with has definitely brought different sides for him. And look at that there. Showing he definitely got skills. And I'll say, go on then. I'll let you have a shot. You can see the marks on each other's bodies.
Telling Wolf to just bring it. Well, he lulled him into a full sense of security, dropped the kendo stick, told him to pick it up and hit him. But Wolf just kicked him straight in the face. I'll take it here, Dragunov is a former student of Alexander.
Well, back in the day on the European circuit. And look at Wolf.
He's knighting here, Dragunov with the kendo stick now. Looking set to crack him over the head with it, but Dragunov catches the kendo stick. Trying to wrestle it from Wolf now. He delivers a huge couple of chops, but Wolf responds with a huge boot.
Oh my God, and then like a net breaker with a kendo stick lodged in between. And Wolf definitely had experience with the weapon before.
Absolutely.
Now he's got the kendo stick and he's just rubbing it across his face.
Now Wolf's just torturing Dragunov, but Dragunov's doing his best to muster up as much power as he can to try and remove the kendo stick that he's got lodged in his mouth.
And this is just torture at the moment. You can definitely see personal issues. Wolf just wants to hurt him, but does get back to his feet.
And uses it to throw Wolf. He gets straight up and hits him with a step up Inseguri. But Dragunov managing to recover long enough to hit him across the gut with a cane. And then one from the back. And he's just teeing off on the older Wolf.
Well, payback's always due with the kendo sticks, and showing what he can do, maybe.
But Wolf blocks the kendo stick shot. Dragunov ducks a clothesline. 619's in the ring. And just hits Wolf off the return.
Well, the fans chanting for tables.
And Dragunov got to set up against the edge of the ring, but decides to throw Wolf into the steel steps.
Comes back in, sets the table up in the corner, now brings Wolf slowly in.
Twist of the wrist, now looking to suplex Wolf onto that table. Wolf blocking it though. The wily veteran turns it around, with Dragunov doing his best to block it as well.
And can I pick up Wolf to try and German through the table? Not at the moment.
Standing switch by Wolf, but Dragunov manages to roll through. Hits a jumping kick.
There's no doubt since his debut the fans definitely been behind him. And now builds up a head of steam, but Wolf throws a chair right to the face of Eye on the top turnbuckle. And now Wolf grabs hold of him. Jesus Christ! And he killed him. Death Valley Driver. You can see the mark across his back there where he fell. Referee checking. That might be it.
I must have knocked the wind out of him, surely. Don't
call me Shirley. That was sick. The way he come down and crumbled there right after the chair shot. And I still don't think Wolf's finished. But it was double impact. That was dangerous. And now Wolf maybe looking for DDT, but no, get blocked.
Jumping in Seguri. And Wolf going for the chair, but Dragunov spotting it and just stomping it back to the mat. Huge knee strike, throws a chair at Wolf.
Well, that's payback for the one earlier. And now can I build up a head of steam?
So looking for a coast to coast.
He put the chair next to Wolf. Now he's going up.
Coast to coast. Holy shit. 1, 2. Oh no, Wolf just managing to kick out.
Oh. Well, I'm sure these two men are trying to kill each other on evidence of the last couple of moves we've seen.
Must have jumped at least 10 feet.
At least 15 there. Straight to the chair, straight to the jaw of Alexander Wolf.
Referee's putting gloves on, it means someone's busted open. He might have internal bleeding.
I have shown the scars of war, and so is Wolf. And I'm trying to collect all the chairs around ringside. Well, I see you go round with the chairs. Referee stopping the bleeding.
Dragunov, if my count is correct, and I did go to school for at least 2 years.
At least 4.
That was in the first grade. There's 5 chairs in the ring. Won't be a very pretty landing.
Now he's going to look for a superplex.
But Wolf trying to hold on. Oh, he manages to slide through the legs of Dragunov, who's holding on to the top turnbuckle to prevent himself getting powerbombed through the chairs. Wolf drags the leg and a snap German suplex onto the pile of chairs. Bang! Followed by a DDT. 2. Oh no, just a 2 count.
2. Well, how can he manage to get through that? Dumped on all his chairs and then head first. You can see the dent in the chair.
What you can't see is a dent in Dragunov's head. Sounded like a gun going off that chair shot to the back. And British steel chairs are a lot harder than American steel chairs, and that is a known fact.
This is not a match. This is a mauling. Both men trying to seriously hurt each other.
Oh! And the chair across the throat just pounded into the mat.
Well, I might have crushed his larynx.
Easy for you to say.
I know. Now he's got the chair again as Wolf.
But Dragunov hulking himself up. Chair to the midsection.
Oh, my God.
Oh! And a hand just slammed into the chair.
And Wolf just picking apart. Oh, yeah, and he might have broken his hand. And he puts him in a submission with a hand again against the chair. And now both hands. Alexander Wolf is a sick, sadistic man.
Oh, but here Dragunov ducks the chair shot, hits a huge clothesline. Can barely grip anything. His hands are useless, so he's going to have to improvise.
And what has he got left? Powers up Wolf.
From one corner.
Death Valley the other side.
Yeah, running Death Valley driver. Sends Wolf through the table.
He got hit with that move early on the apron. He's just returned the favour through a table.
Something like a torpedo Moscow. 2, 3. And here Dragunov gets, in my opinion, a well-deserved victory in a hard-fought contest over Alexander Wolf.
Well, what a cracking no disqualification match that was. I mean, you talk about other matches, and yeah, you know, we saw the kendo stick, but the way it was used during the match and the way the story was told, it was like a young lion having to take the beatings of the older man to kind of make it through and prove it. And there's no doubt that is a huge statement victory for Dragunov. That was a great match, wasn't it?
Absolutely brilliant match, yeah. Definitely good showcasing these two teams. We saw a great tag team match early on as well before when Imperium went against Gallus. We got there an Imperium member and kind of a Gallus sympathiser.
He's viewed as though.
Oh, I know, I've got to spit my teeth out. But you can certainly see the rivalry going into this one, and, you know, Walter versus Joe Coffey is going to be a hugely explosive matchup as well.
Without a doubt, and Dragunov gets a massive victory here on NXT UK thanks to the Torpedo Moscow, which is a great finisher as well. But, oh, wait a minute.
Well, we've got the Imperium tag team of Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel coming to pick apart the bones of Ita Dragunov.
And now setting him up for the power bomb.
The European bomb.
Oh, where's his friends? Where's anybody to help right now?
Well, this man's certainly not going to help him. It is the UK champ, Walter.
And he's been in the background recently. He's not been getting involved a lot. Just been watching on from afar.
Oh, as you say, he's, the rest of his Imperium unit have got some proving to do. You know, that man doesn't need to prove himself. He is the top dog in NXT UK. And,
of course, they've made the new NXT UK title belt for him as well. And Walter's proud with his troops. Even though Wolf did come up short.
He certainly put Dragunov through the mill.
Oh, wait a minute. Joe Coffey's out here.
And he's calling out the rest of Imperium.
And he just knocked out Walter. He just took out the NXT UK champion. And then just ran away.
The old hit and run.
And Gallus have got at the right times. And they've definitely gotten ahead of Imperium. And I think that's what makes the journey to Takeover so interesting as well.
So, of course, we will bring you the latest episodes of NXT UK on our live NXT Takeover pre-show on January the 12th.
Yeah, so what do you think of NXT UK as we've just sat through 8 episodes?
I think it's been good. As you mentioned before, it's them utilising the hour correctly. You know, you've got the hour focusing on the women. You've got the hour focusing on the tag teams. You've got an hour focusing on like the huge main event that's going to be between Gallus and Imperium, you know, like all them kind of matches. You see a bit of focus into the Jordan Devlin side of things as well. You know, he wants a match against, what's his trout?
Tyler Bate. And as
Tyler
you speak
Bate.
of that, let's just run through the Takeover card. As we know, like it will be next Sunday. No, we won't. 2 weeks' time it will be, won't it? I get confused sometimes. So will it be next week? It will be next weekend we're doing this. Why are you confusing me for, Dan? Because we'll bring you the schedule in a minute as well. But let's just run through the Takeover card. Of course, Takeover is next Sunday, January the 12th. And we've talked about the latest edition, Jordan Devlin versus Tyler Bate will be there. And that'll be an interesting matchup, won't it, between the two?
Indeed, yes. Two very good styles, both brilliant wrestlers as well. We saw Jordan Devlin live quite recently. We've got Tyler Bates' tag team partner, Mustache Mountain friend Trent Seven going against Eddie Dennis.
Yeah, and of course Eddie Dennis has been taken out. People associated with Trent Seven recently wants to send a statement after coming back from injury against one half Mustache Mountain, who's got his own point to prove, really, because everybody sees him as a weak link sometimes. You've got Kaylee Ray versus Tony Storm versus Piper Niven, and it's the UK Women's title match. That should be a fantastic match between all three involved.
Absolutely brilliant affair. You know, Tony Storm and Piper Niven, will they be friends? Will they implode? Just don't know. And Kaylee Ray, could she capitalise on that and sneak in a victory?
Oh, this is the questions that we need to be asked and answered at TakeOver.
We've got Gallus, which is Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, versus Imperium, which is Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel, versus the Grizzled Young Vets, that's Zach Gibson and James Drake, versus Mark Andrews and Mr. Flash in a fatal four-way tag team ladder match for the NXT UK Tag Team Championship.
Well, that is quite a mouthful, but what a match that should be with all four teams involved. Expect a match of the night available. And then, of course, we have got the main event, which is the NXT UK title on the line. It's Walter versus Joe Coffey, a battle of the big men. But Gallus, as we've said, have got into Imperia's head. We'll dissect the card more next Sunday when we're live. But we've got a massive schedule coming up. Of course, our next episode, January 11th, will bring you NJPW, and it'll be Wrestle Kingdom 14 for the first time ever.
And then on January the 12th, we've got NXT Takeover live pre-show.
And then January 19th, the NXT Takeover Blackpool 2. The entire event.
On January the 25th, we've got the Worlds Collide event.
Yeah, Imperium versus Undisputed Era. That should be quite a night. Something, of course, we'll bring you live as we do.
And on January the 26th, we have got the Royal Rumble pre-show live.
Yeah, so the Royal Rumble, it's our favourite time of year, really, isn't it, the Rumble, when it comes to WWE?
It is a lovely time of year for us, yes.
Yeah, I think the Rumble's probably one of my favourite events. I would say, out of all of them that we do, the 30-man match, even though maybe recently, if I want to be like this, they've spoiled it a little bit by having two, because sometimes there's too much to take in. But I do enjoy the Rumble event. But of course, the next episode, first time ever, we're going to have some of the Magnificent Seven. We saw some of them today. You know, we saw Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. And next week, it's time for Will Ospreay and, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. But that's it. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at WNR263 Review or
at Vince McDan WWE.
I'm at John Rowland. Across all the Google platforms, don't forget to send us an email at WNRpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. You can come and find our page and give us a like with a we are the WNR Podcast. Or you can come and find me and add me as a friend. I am Vince McDan.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, WNR Podcast. Podcast got the same time on YouTube as well, places like SoundCloud.
On your phone.
We're also on Spreaker Radio. We'll have our live shows, but links on Twitter and social media, Stitch Radio and iTunes. We can download, subscribe, rate and review there. So that, like I say, up next is New Japan, but until then, was NXT. I've been James Rowlands, and as always joined by
Dan White.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.
Bye.